How's that? Maybe people could hear me now. That would be a lot better. So, Trucking Answers, we are live. Hopefully, thank you very much, everyone. Okay, there goes that $12 down the tubes. As they say, I thought that would be better. Ha, hilarious. All right, that's some good audio video right there. All right, Mr. Skeptical is here already. First one today. Jesse, thanks for coming in. Mr. Canada, hello. Richard, it's good to see you on here today. iTruck, I think Mr. Skeptical beat you in on that one, sir. Dustin, hello there today. Oh, Peterbilt 379 is in today. Haven't seen you for a while. U-Haul, what's happening out there, U-Haul? May Trucking makes you pay for wiper blades. Nice. And gives you 3 days pro for the year. Nice. They make you pay for the fuel too. They might as well make you buy the blades. What the heck? They make you buy everything else. William, what's happening out there? Mad Maldy, hello, sir. Boy, everybody's out here today. Dan is out there. Hi, Tito. Jacob the Breeze is on there. I have a screen for people that are new. I have a screen down below. That's what I'm looking at to follow the comments. What do I think about the trucker protest? Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute here. Felipe, hello there. Boy, Mullethead is here. Yes, I saw that over the weekend. William, Night Rider Truckers out there. Man, it's a busy day out there today. Faith, Martin Ortiz is there. Jacob, yikes. Ryan, boy, it's a big group out there today. So, the Black Smoke Batters, I saw they shut the highway down, which is what I've always said, that if people would just gather together, they could do anything. It's amazing to me that people finally did it. You know, that's good. Joshua, thank you. I appreciate that for being a new subscriber. The White Knight is also out there. That's, you know, that protest, any company where you aren't paid properly, right, the real solution is y'all get together and say, we won't go to work Monday. It works the same as the driver shutting down the highway. Now, I don't think there's going to be as much come of that, because if 50 companies stop, you stop all these different companies and they all shut down the highway, what good is that going to do? You have this company says we'll give you 3 cents, this one says they give you 9 cents, that one says they give you 8 cents. It's a huge problem because not everybody's paid from the same thing. When a company like UPS goes on strike, everybody's under a master contract, and so they all get paid the same. When everybody gets together, that's good to have to send a message for sure. But I don't know that it'll change anything per se, because each person's paid differently. Each person's paid differently on it. Let's see. You're into your detention time, Mad Melody, waiting for these shippers to get your bill of lading. What the heck? I mean, that's a lot of problem with these places. Wow, oh, you're done, come on in, and then 2 hours later you get your paperwork. Who the heck does that? What are they waiting for? Can't they print things out? Lancer, you're at Amarillo College? Nice. Oh, thank you, Wow Bill. I appreciate you subscribing. I appreciate that you dig it. We're hip and hot here. You've been seeing a lot of this mixed reviews from drivers about the protest. Yeah, you know, I like the idea of it. It's a good idea that drivers finally got together to do something like that. But I don't know what will come of it. Who speaks for them? You have to have a speaker. One of the drivers needs to say, you talk to me, nobody moves till you talk to me. It can't be this splinter group of just a bunch of drivers that get together, because then there's no organization. You want to make a protest, you want to do something, you got to get together. And one of you has to speak for everybody. One of you needs to go out there and say, all right, we agree, Joe or Fred, whoever it is, talks for us. Until he says we move, nobody moves. That's the solution. Then you can get something done. Then absolutely get something done. Lancer, yeah, you're quite welcome for that. I love looking stuff up. I love finding good companies. I know everybody likes a crap company, and it's good to call them out. I like finding good companies, too, where people can finally go somewhere, you know, and get paid decently and be treated the way they should be, right? Drivers are appreciated and undervalued, that's for sure. And not just from the government, but from everybody in general. Okay, Knight Rider, I appreciate that. I'm going to print that out. Thank you. Joe Denny is the leader, but is Joe Denny the official leader? Where if everybody stops, nobody moves until he says you move. That's what you need. That is the solution. 500 people stop and you go, nobody moves until you talk to Joe Denny, whoever that is. I don't know who that is at the moment. ELD Uncensored hate each other and threaten to beat each other up. See, that's the problem. I'm surprised this many drivers got together to do anything, much less stop the interstate, really. And now, if the drivers are going to beat each other up, then that's it. You're finished. That's going to go on the news. Where do you think that's going to go? If that happened and that was on the news, they'll be like, see, here's these hoodlum drivers, and they'll just come with the big wagon and arrest everybody. You can't be doing that. Cannot do it. Oh, hello, Timothy. Thank you for coming in from Italy again. Just about time for you to go to bed over there. Nittany Lion, hey, what's happening? Oh, you're quite welcome, DC. I give out, do what I can, with the little time that I have. So what do you all think about the protest? Did anybody hear about it, right? They stopped on 95. I don't know for how long, really. I guess I should have looked it up. But I don't know. They stopped 95 and then they left, I guess. I guess it was just for a few minutes. Not much. The way I read about it, always stopping for a few minutes or something. Not that long. Not that long. It should stop longer than that. Oh, it's only 7 over there? All right. Yeah, we don't need any more black guys. I totally agree. Light Bright. That's great. I remember my Light Bright. You support every trucker protest? Well, not all of them are good, of course. But you're going to need organization. Like when it was unionized years ago, one guy spoke for everybody, right? And nobody moved until he said you move. Of course, we can't find him anymore. That's the problem with that. But that is the solution. Get everybody together. One person says nobody work. It could work just at your company. It could work anywhere. You don't even need a union. You go to a company and you go, look, we're not coming in Monday until everybody gets a dime raise or whatever. Or like at May is a perfect example. Nobody moves their truck after noon Monday until we don't pay for the fuel anymore. And then at noon Monday, they watch on their board and all the trucks stop. It doesn't have to be a union. It just has to be everybody agreeing to it. Believe me, they'll move the trucks. Well, they're going to fire everybody? They go, we'll fire you. Right. Going to fire hundreds of drivers? Then what? Then all your trucks are sitting there with no drivers in them. That won't happen, especially now. It cannot happen. So all you got to do is stand up for yourself and stand up together, and you have the solution. Everybody has the solution right in front of themselves, really. Okay, well, the thing was all over within 3 hours. Well, that's a long time to stop the interstate. That'd be impressive if they did that. First week was ShipX. Oh, finally, somebody's went there. Everything, as they say, Utah to Alabama, 1,800 miles. Good. That is excellent to hear, right? They advertised over 1,400 miles. And so right from there, they should keep you moving, get that bonus, and get the money. Man, that is great to hear. I'm very believe me. When I do the good company ones, I'm really, really nervous about it. Because they say all these things, and then you look all the reviews and it looks good, but then you just aren't sure, So I'm glad to see that it worked out good. And they're probably watching this because they're right on top of that stuff, believe me. The guys in the protest were owner-operators. Yeah, but you only need, 3 or 4 of them across the road to stop the whole highway. Indiana and California did it, right? They stopped at, 5 minutes. I thought the interstate stop was just for a few minutes, just to, send a message. That's interesting. That's like a shot across the bow. You go, all right, we'll show you. We can stop the highway for 5 minutes. Next time they ought to stop it for 5 hours. They blew their horns and jakes. Yeah, that happens every truck stop. So that could be any truck stop in America. They're building a list. Yeah. Amazon pays $15 an hour. When is trucking going up in pay? Amazon doesn't have any trucks. They have trailers. Or are you talking about detention time? That they pay $15 an hour? That'd be pretty low, too. But Amazon doesn't run their own trucks. I have seen their trailers, and they advertise for owner-operators to come and get them. Yeah, there's some Indian drivers in California. They come on. A lot of them from Canada. Oh, thanks, William. I appreciate seeing you here. There's been a lot of people here today. I do a live show every Monday at 1 for those new people. So 1 p.m. Eastern time, I'm live. Sometimes I come in live during the week. Look out for this Saturday. There'll probably be a live show this coming Saturday, but I don't schedule anything the rest of the week because it's crazy. I still, I drive. I'm a driver, so I work full-time too, so I don't always have time. But probably Saturday there'll be a live show. That's what I'm looking for, but no promises on it. Monday's the only promised time. You never know. They're protesting ELDs. Yeah, their ELDs were their big issue, which they say is reducing their pay. So it's kind of, got together on both of them. But they shouldn't, the electronic log isn't your problem, of course. How many hours a day do you want to work? That's what I was saying. I get a lot of grief for it. Oh, you like ELDs. Well, I don't want to work 18 hours a day. I mean, I don't think I should have to work 2/3 of the day to make a living. I don't think any driver should have to do that. If drivers were paid, that electronic log could be your savior. You should get paid off of it for every minute on line 3 and 4, and then maybe we'd make some money. Okay, I read on a review on ShipX. Driver said all the miles he did, then divided that by his salary. It equaled out. I don't know about that. With the bonuses, right? 38 cents. You know, you'd be getting a lot more than 38 cents if you made the bonus. If he's right under the bonus amount, maybe. So it just depends. If you're up higher, the more miles you get, those larger bonus, quarterly, yearly, then you could do it. Okay, John, I appreciate that you appreciate the show. I try to give out information that's good. And when it's wrong, I'll correct it. So any company that, like May, I'm waiting for May to contact me and tell me it's wrong. But I will tell you, I had a lot of people write in and said, oh yeah, well, I've had pay coming out of my check. So I'm like, well, it's time to get out of there. You said that in a group. Yeah, you get ripped for saying that. You do. But look, your electronic log is your savior. It's going to be your savior if you would just try to get paid from it. Every minute of your day could be paid right off that log. Ours goes minute by minute. So there's no reason you shouldn't get paid minute by minute on it. For sure. I don't, but you should. So all your fueling time, any time, all your waiting time, you'd be on duty, wouldn't you? Because you'd be getting paid and you wouldn't have to run illegal like everybody does. I have not reviewed National Carriers, the beef place. Josh, oh, you drive for Maverick. Good. How is it? I love it. Great. Thank you. See, another one that made me nervous, right? But Maverick turned out really good. The pay seems to be excellent. The training, I like the idea of it. Do I feel the wind starting to change in the truckers' favor? Maybe. You know, if more of this stuff goes on and people just demand to be paid off of this log. And we've got this DOT guy now, right? The FMCSA head, sort of on our side at least halfway. At least halfway. He's at least listening. You can't go by one driver, but you just never know. When there's a ton of places that's saying it, we'll see if this person here gets their bonus. When will I be coordinating highway shutdowns? That probably won't happen. What should you do for your electronic log disconnects? You have to go on paper logs for the rest until it's fixed. So you shouldn't, plus you're required to have a paper log with you when you have electronic log anyway. So you just rip that baby out and start paper logging it. And at my company, they'll email me the logs. I can just call them and say, look, the electronic log just shut off. I can't use it. Email me logs. And my last 8 days, pow, they sent it right to me so that I have them. So if you're at a place that won't do that, other people have suggested this and I recommend it. Take a picture of the log at the end of each day. So then you would have a picture at least to show your last days. I think that works out good. Most of them are drivers are stupid. I don't know about that. They wouldn't be happy until they ever work 24 hours a day. Drivers are working for the wrong thing. You shouldn't try to work more. You should try to work to make more. Don't say, oh, this log is preventing me from working half the day. It's preventing me from working, 90% of the day. Yeah, who wants to work that long? Make more. Don't work more. Don't just try to work your 24 hours a day. Truck service, all right. You're a trucker and get overtime after 40. Yeah. So you get paid for your time. If you're hourly, you get paid for all your time. That's the way everybody should be. There's no further excuse. This company doesn't realize this electronic log, they have no excuse, no further excuse to not pay you for all of your time. They put this in, now pay us. Simple. ELD would be okay with a salary, yeah. Yikes. How much for a DOT doctor? I don't know exactly what we're talking about on that. Why do drivers always fight for longer hours? Because they think that if they work more, they'll make more. And, the more you work, I consider that less money because I figure your hours out, including overtime past 40, when I ask a driver how much they're really making. And then on the, $1,200, $1,400, that at 70 hours, that is not great. That's 16 something an hour. So for $1,400 on 70 hours, because you would otherwise get overtime past 40. That isn't good when 15-year-olds get 12 at Target here and Walmart. So don't think like that's some kind of great money if it's 70 hours. It's still way, way lower than it should be. If we got $23, $25 an hour or more like we should, and then overtime past 40, that 70 hours turns into $2,200. And that's more like what it should be, 100, 125,000. Especially if you're gone week, 2 weeks, you should easily be six figures for sure. It shouldn't be like only one place is paying it. Everybody should pay it. It's worth it. You're gone from your house for weeks and weeks. The solution is to get paid it off the electronic log. They're not going to be able to offer $12 an hour if you got paid hourly. Nobody would take it. because you'd be like, that's crap money. But the same people take $14 or $15 an hour because it looks good at the end of the week. They don't figure it out by the hour. Figure your time out by your hours and divide that into your pay and see how much you're making with overtime. Any hours past 40 is time and a half. So if you work 60 hours, it's 20 times 1.5, which is 30, plus 40, 70, and divide that into your hours. That's your real hourly pay, and that's what really matters. Yes, Jeff, I spared no expense on the decorations. I went all out. It's Halloween time. We have the Halloween decorations up here. I had lit ones, but I didn't know how that would show up on a camera. So we're going with this one right here. You're filthy. You feel and you're guilty. We also need to get in these non-thinking ways. Right, keep going without checking your paycheck. Yeah, always. You should look at your check every week, just because you never know if you're being shorted, even accidentally. I'll look on there and there's not $100 for something or whatever. The flag shows backwards on some cameras. The colors are to its own upper right, which is a proper display indoors. So depending on how you see it on through this camera, it can show backwards, but the flag is displayed properly because the blue field is in the flag's upper right. So let's see. I don't know how Crete carriers still has Freightliner Sentries. Oh my God, I haven't seen a Sentry out for Crete. Oh, so you saw one? That's really something. You know, if it could be an owner-operator truck too. So I don't know what their rules are for taking owner-operators on. Not sure about that. Work the electronic log to your benefit. You do 5 night hours and 4 morning, and you ran $7.49. Look, you can electronic log a lot of hours if a company will roll you, and you don't stay at the Petro looking around at the displays of everything in there. You can work it, but you got to have a company that rolls you too. You can't be unloading at these docks, like sitting around waiting for detention time all the way. You can't do that, right? What do I think about the new Kenworth W990? You know, I looked. The 990 is coming out, and they have this tour, and I thought, oh, I'm going to go see one of these trucks, but it's not coming anywhere near me. I was going to go down there and film it. I thought they might come to Indianapolis. It's a big place, and they're not coming down there, so they're not going to be near me. I think it looks great. It won't get any fuel mileage, I don't think, but it looks good. And the one that I saw in the picture had a 13-liter PACCAR in it. Yikes, nobody's going to order that in it. You start at $18 for new drivers. That's not great, right? $1.93 for vans, 30,000 or less. All right, that's more like it. So you're $2, maybe even with fuel. That's even better. Rates should go up. The rates have, even according to Landline now, right? I don't follow the rates because I'm a company driver. The rates have gone up. So even so they say. So that's just what I'm going by. You should certainly get over 2. Over 2. Kroger pays well. They have a Kroger near us that is paying hourly plus overtime. It's like 80 miles from me though, and it's run by Quickway. It's not run by Kroger. Doesn't do it themselves. You molest a white Freightliner? Oh, I don't want to see that. You're here. You missed most of the show, and you get 1 demerit for being late. You'd like to point out it is not a gold. No, it is not gold gilded. I'll give you that. Do you know any fleets that train drivers that still run manuals? You know, Maverick said they had manuals, but other people have told me no. So I think it depends. They said, yeah, you can be trained in a manual. And who was it? Was it CRST that said if you asked later, you could come in and be tested in a manual, although she's like, oh, most people don't do that. I think that was either them or England. Of course, nobody wants to go there anyway, but there's still places run manual. We have a mix, and a lot of places have manuals. All our trucks coming in are automatics, for sure. But a lot of places still have them. A lot of places. I'm finding places with still 18 speeds, which is really incredible. The protest was overlooked by the Kavanaugh. Yeah, it would be. Anything would overlook drivers. They'll always go to something else. Let's see. Trucker protest. How do I know it's a charge delivery? Right. I'm a company driver. I will tell you that. I will tell you. So I don't have a lot of owner-operator information, like on rates and stuff like that. There are probably people in the comments that would do better on that. Yeah, that's a good point, right? Training schools, because look, your first choice should be to pay for it yourself. But I know not everybody has that kind of money, right? Most people don't. Then look into your state's Department of Unemployment, even if you're working. A lot of states' Department of Unemployment will have a program to put you through truck school, a lot of times for free or mostly free. That's the next. Then you may have to go to a trucking company that provides the school to you. that's your last choice, because then you still could do it. All right, Audrey, Andrei, that's it, right? Thanks for coming in. Get back on the road. Your break is over. You want to learn how to train on manuals so you don't have the restriction. Yeah, you know, I think by the time you get driving over the road, I think they're going to end the restriction. You know, I really do, because there's so many automatics now. I just don't see the point of a restriction. There isn't one on your car license. When you go to drive a car, everybody can drive anything. There isn't a restriction on a manual. So I think that it will come a day when they don't have it. Now, people have pointed out that it's probably some kind of conspiracy so that the large companies, you can't quit as easily. You have this restriction, which I think is interesting. And other people have said, depending on the state, they don't put it on there anyway. So that depends too. So, but I do think that it's coming a day when there's not going to be a restriction on there. Because you're not, what's the point of that? You're going to CDL school soon, and Philly is a union town. Good. You can go over there to YRW or, you know, Old Dominion, well, they're not union, right? Yellow, and get a good job. And you don't, people think you don't have to be gone now like you used to be. You don't absolutely have to be gone. You can go to work now locally for people that don't have their license yet and never be gone. You can be home every day, get your license, and have a regular job and a life and not have to be gone unless you want to be. It didn't, when I started, you basically almost had to be gone. Now it isn't like that. I'm seeing Yellow. I'm seeing Old Dominion take students. I've seen Holland with a truck school. These are all local companies, you know, and they will put you on. So I'm totally seeing it because I know there's a lot of people that write to me that don't want to be gone. You don't have to be gone. Get to school and get a good job. It used to be a wonderful company to work for, but they start believing that they were the reason the company was making money and all the driver incentives. Well, look, yeah, okay, Old Dominion has driving school too. That's, you know, look, around Indianapolis, they're paying good. They've offered in the mid 60 cents a mile here, 63 cents a mile, well worth it. To start, right? You met a guy driving for Pepsi. He told me to go to school. There's supposedly a lot of, yeah, there's a ton of work out there. And by the way, as we all know, this is an important part of that. That's the taste of a new generation. So that's something to really consider. How much do they pay for boom or crane equipped jobs? Those jobs probably are local or hourly. I've never run one of those, but I got to think that that's going to pay hourly. How many miles a day can you put on that gigantic thing? Isn't it best to have an 18 speed? Not way. Not anymore. 13 speed, I think, is the most you need on the road unless you're doing oversized or overweight loads or doing some kind of off-roading with these big loads. 13's plenty on the road, really. You can't do miles on the East Coast. Yeah, I think everybody, if you're only running the East Coast or Northeast, if you're Northeast Regional, it's almost got to be, you know, 70 cents, 80 cents a mile or hourly, or you're just not going to make it. You can't sit in traffic all day, every single day. And plus, you're going to go nuts. I mean, 20 years of that, and you're just going to be crazy. So that isn't going to, just in your head, you're going to go crazy. I mean, me in my extreme upper 30s, I don't want to do it already. I-95. Oh, U-Haul, right. Parking. What about parking out there, too? Oh, my God. 18 speed for dump trucks. I don't think on the road, the way the engines are now, you know. Look, I had a 250 horse Cummins. So, and it was a 9-speed, so we couldn't get anywhere. So people today griping, they're way better. I mean, and I'm not the only one. There have been people driving that can tell you, right, that not that long ago, you couldn't hardly get anywhere. You're crawling up mountains at 10 or 12 miles an hour. That doesn't happen anymore, even with the lower-end trucks. Do I think we need more mom-and-pop truck stops? You need them, but you're not going to get them. It's just too expensive. They're all being bought up by the big truck stops. There's not going to be any more of them. You learned on a 13-speed? Nice. I had to kind of learn, you know, myself. We had a 10-speed at truck school and a white Road Commander. Oh, my God, a cab over sleeper, right, which is what I learned on. And then I just got a job that happened of a 13-speed at one point. They're like, here's your truck. So I tried to Google it up, but Google hadn't been invented yet. So, and I only had just a phone with buttons on it, so I couldn't do that. I just kind of had to figure it out. Yeah, they're raising the tolls to pay for the 69 project, which isn't going to be done for years, right, just out of Indianapolis. And they're raising them like over 30%, 35% on the toll road. The good thing, only for trucks, and that way they'll pay for a road for everybody. Why don't they raise the, of course I live here, why don't they raise the price of car plates, except for mine, personally, and so that they can pay for the road that way in Indiana. But if nothing, look, the road's for everybody. Everybody should pay for it. So don't just, but you know, the governor, what did he say? Oh, trucks do 10,000 times the damage of cars, right? Total garbage. He has no idea what he's talking about, naturally. And that is a quote from him. 10,000 times the damage each truck does, that each, as opposed to one car. That's ridiculous. Total lies. Just lies. Because people are like, oh, tax those trucks, those truckers, right? Ridiculous. And that just, you know, companies just going to say, we can't give you a raise, we've got to pay all these taxes. Yeah, do I think training new drivers private would be worth it? CDL's never been required. You can just go take your license. You'd need to bring a truck. It would just cost a fortune. If you're doing it, I mean, the liability would be incredible to do it legitimately, right? What part of the country is the shortage? They say everywhere. I say maybe the oil fields down in Texas. They seem to really have a trouble getting people because of the housing, so they just can't get any more people in there. Otherwise, it's a huge churn of drivers, right? People come and people go, but there's always more people to fill those same trucks up. When you go to the store, think about this. Is there any product missing from the store? That's the question. No. So trucks have been bringing it. So there can't be a shortage of them. They're like, we're waiting. We don't know when this milk is coming. It's never going to come. 3 more days. That doesn't happen. It's not Venezuela. Oh, thank you, Shoot. I appreciate that. I try to, you know, drivers, that's the whole backbone of the country. We're the backbone of the country. As we found out, they shut the road down for 5 minutes. Make that 5 hours. Teamsters is needed without the mob. Yeah, that way the guy running it doesn't disappear. Why doesn't Truck Stops make home-cooked food? You know, they have home-cooked hot dogs that roll around on that grill. They're pretty delicious. Why don't trucking schools use cab overs? Because the museum has all of them. The museum doesn't want to let you use them for the school. You mess around at 87, 84, 95, and 80, yeah. You'll sit. Look, 80, you know, Northeast, hourly. I don't know how you do it unless you're hourly. These places, some places I see paying 5 cents a mile more to go to Northeast. There ought to be 50 cents more a mile because you're going to sit all day. That's why New York City, I say forget it. That going in and out is your entire day, going 25 miles in to deliver and coming back out. That's a whole day. You ought to get a day's pay for that, not an extra nickel a mile. The only good thing about the DOT is they risk their lives around it. Yeah, Ruthless Rider, they start making rules for trucks only. Well, they've talked about having truck-only lanes, making a lane for trucks, but imagine that, and people say, oh, that's great. Imagine a single lane where you can go and only trucks are there and you just zoom along, right, in that lane. Who's in front of you? Name the company that's at the front of the pack there in that lane, and you tell me why that's a bad idea. Is USA Trucking a good company? I think it varies, right? I know a guy that works there, but he's on an hourly, he has a sleeper, but he's on an hourly account, so I don't know about their road. If you can get on one of these dedicated accounts they have, and that's for all these companies, because I've had people from basically every large company write to me that they're on a dedicated account and then they get great money and great home time. So maybe the key to these larger carriers is going in and getting on a dedicated account because those people seem to do great and just the road drivers from these large companies don't. So go on there and get a dedicated account. You live 18 miles from your house, it takes you an hour to get to work some days. That's crazy. That's crazy. Swift is a bad idea. I don't know. Of the places I look, I'll tell you that. They look better and better every day I start looking at places. I'm thinking, man, this place is great compared to some of the places. No more 30-minute break. Yeah, Brian, you know, here's the thing. I think that's going away. I always say I don't have any insight on that. And remember, your time to comment ends on the 10th of October, so be sure to go make your comments heard to the fmcsa at regulations.gov. I think the 30-minute break is going to go away. It's the most hated thing, even according to them. People hate it. Do I recommend Stevens? No, not really. They won't talk to me. I did a video about them. They won't have anything to say to me. They wouldn't answer questions. They were just like, unless you apply, we can't answer any questions. I'm like, well, I want questions answered until I apply. You can go check that video out, right? It's a few months old probably now. It's just the craziest thing. If they're not going to talk to me, it just makes me a little nervous about what they're doing. What are they trying to hide from me? What do I think about team drivers? Not for me. You won't find me teaming. I don't care who's driving. They could be the best driver ever, certified gold driver, not interested. Not interested. Some people can do it. It's not for me. I'm not saying it's bad. You want a team drive, be my guest. It's but not, no thanks. Do I think it's safe? No, I don't think you get any sleep, so I don't think it's safe. At your local job, you drive 320 miles, you get $197. Now that's more like it. 3 loads a day, right? If you want to work more, you can. All right, so how long does that take you to make $197 is another good question, right? New York City, if you can go at night, if you don't go at night, right, look, there's no good time to go through New York City, right? When you stop at traffic, U-Haul has an excellent point. When you stop traffic, it means ambulances and fire engines. That's correct. It means you stop everybody. Right, so what is a better solution then to that? I don't think when all these companies stop, I don't think it's a good solution. I think the best solution is for drivers to not drive, not stop traffic, because the people that you're stopping in the cars, remember, they probably can't help you either, and they're just aggravated at you, and that isn't doing you any good either. You find a company and say at noon on the whatever, just a date, and you get all the drivers together, all the trucks stop, and all those drivers pull somewhere and park legally, safely, and they say, until you talk to this driver or whatever, whoever it is, none of these trucks are going anywhere, period. And that is the solution. You think you get a raise, especially at a big place that has 1,000 trucks, and you pull every truck over. They look at their board, all the trucks are stopped. You go, nobody moves until he tells us to move. Boy, you'd get a raise pretty fast. It's going to fire 1,000 people? I don't think so. I don't think so. U.S. Express has dedicated for Family Dollar. Well, I don't know if Family Dollar's worth it. You're going to unload the truck, right? It's hand unload. And there have been a lot of people complain. I recommend you look the reviews of the Family Dollar account up. There are a lot of complaints about it. You're going to these dinky stores in the middle of nowhere. I mean, we have one here, but it's off in a corner. And so I think it's a risk there. The hand unloading, you know, that front of that trailer is pretty hot in the middle of summer. Think about that. Is a small guy owner operator even worth it anymore? Maybe. If you are an owner operator and you get your own authority so that you keep the money, yes, because then you make your own life. The harder you work, the more you learn, the better you work at it, then you can make money. Yes. Then it's worth it. This leasing from a company, no, I'm against that. You're on a dedicated account with Trans Am. You're home every weekend and a couple of days during the week for a grant, $1,050. How many hours you work for $1,050? You've talked to Stevens drivers and they love it. Yeah, you know, here's the thing about Stevens. They would not talk to me. If I call a number that is a recruiting number and I have questions like, what do you pay? They go, we can't answer you until you apply. What is that? Well, how's the insurance? Did you apply? What's the vacation? Did you apply? That bothers me. Okay, why have a recruiter? I'm not here to apply. I don't want to apply at 50 companies. I want information about your company, and then we'll talk, you know, and I'll decide. So if they don't want to give me information, that's, you know, part of the reason I'm against them. Okay, so that's the story. Apparently, Swift Canada is the only division and pays somewhat better. You know, I think Swift has dedicated routes too, and after reading all these different places, Swift isn't totally bad. There are a lot of drivers commenting a 30-minute break. Yeah, that's why I think it's going to go away. It was a big problem even before they opened the comment session. People hate it, and I totally agree. You have to sit there for 30 minutes for no reason. Maybe you're tired, maybe you're not. So right at that time, what if you're not tired yet? Everybody, right, that's been driving a length of time, sometimes you're up and you can drive all day, you're ready to go, and sometimes you're not. So to make you sit there right at a certain period of time, I don't think. At least they could turn it around and say, take it anytime you want. At least that. You need an electronic log if you go out of state. Depends on how many miles. If you're over the air mile requirement of 100 what miles, X miles, air miles, then you do. Otherwise, no. It's not a state thing. What do I know about Freymiller? Not that much, right. So about that much, really. You're driving the outskirts every other day of Chicago with your normal route. Can never go anywhere without stopping. You know, I grew up in Hammond, Indiana, and my first job driving of all jobs was economy transport in Chicago on North, where were they, on North Whipple? Oh, I lived on Whipple. They were just down the street anyhow. So I hear you. That's how I learned backing, basically, because there was no training then. I graduated school, went to work Monday, 15 or 20 stops a day for a couple of months of that in an old GMC Brigadier and a Ford L9000 if you needed a twin screw. The Brigadier was a single with a 2-speed rear end. How about that? Electronic rear end. Is there any way to have the ATA lobby for you, the little guy? No. They don't care about you. They just want to use you. There's absolutely no way to get them to do anything for you. Pure Flatbedder, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thanks for that super chat. I appreciate it. You know this one former Stevens transport driver retired said that they keep sending me emails to come back. Well, they wouldn't even send me any information. So maybe I should work there, quit, and then they'll give me information. That's all I'm asking for, really, from this place. They might be great. If they would actually send me their information, they might turn out to be great. But it should bother you. If you call about a place and they won't give you any information, what the heck? What are they trying to hide? That's what the problem is there. They're in the dubious section. Yes, Stevens treats you like you're 5 years old. Nice. Overweight tickets go on the shipper and not the drivers. Maybe. It depends. How far did you go with the load, right? If it's before a scale, it should go on the shippers. But if you can go back, then no. And you should be paid, remember, for all that time. All that time. Okay, Effortless Perfection wants to know my company, right? I do answer this all the time. I work for a company with a social media policy. And so if I mention them, they could be in the video saying, oh, well, you're talking about a company and they're our friend, or so we can't have that, or we like them. So I don't mention where I work. And remember, a lot of people are on YouTube recruiting for their company. I don't recruit for my company either. A lot of people are out there, oh, come and hire, here's my number. I don't do that either. So that way I can talk and say whatever I want, and they're not involved in it. That's why I leave them out. I've been driving 30 years, though. I've been 16 years at one company, and I like working there, and so I want to keep it that way as well. So I leave them out of my videos. I don't have anything, I don't say about them, and I leave them out of it. So that's how I do that. That's why I do that. Micah, thank you very much. I appreciate that. What about specialty loads as an owner-operator? Is this just BS? TV stuff, boats? No, there's demand for everything, right? Now, if you're going to be into boats, you got to remember, if the economy takes a dive, how about that? Yeah, ring the bell. If they take a dive, right, people aren't going to buy boats because that's just a luxury item. So if you're hauling something people don't necessarily need in the economy, that's going to be a problem. If you haul things people need, food, right, all that kind of stuff, there's always a need for that. I always say if people, no matter how much money they have to eat and they have to have toilet paper because they got to go somewhere. So they're always going to need that. That's how it works, right? So that's my thoughts on it. All these wages are that's all. Everybody's gross because, 3 people can make $1,000 and they all take something different homes. Depends on your insurance, kids, and all that, right? So it's gross. You would know what you take. I take home about 71.4% of my paycheck each week, but that varies. Depends on how much your insurance costs and all that kind of stuff, right? Where's the best source for news and updates pertaining to the trucking industry, as well as being a trusted source for the truth? Thanks. And thank you, Effortless Perfection. I appreciate that. And the best news is a lot of places, right? I would say me, of course. But look, not just me. There's tons of places. And you're going to have to go like Landline Now. And they have a podcast. So, which is how I do it. I download it to my phone and listen to podcasts. I download all weekend. Watch them, join OIDA. Everybody should be a member of OIDA anyway. And there are other people, that talk like Jay at Auto Transport Intel, right? I trust him. He has a live show on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Right here. And he talks about the car hauling industry and has experts on his show. So you should watch that. You're just going to have to, put feelers out and see, what people are doing. If you're watching videos, see what kind of experience do people have. I've seen videos of people that have been driving for 3 months that are giving out all kinds of information. So it just depends. What experience do the people have? It depends. But you're going to have to do more than one place. It can't just be, as much I'd like to say, only watch me and cut everybody out of your life. That's not the way to go at all, right? Watch a lot of sources and read a lot of things to get information, for sure. For sure. Durrell Greggs, thank you very much. I appreciate that as well. You guys are very generous today. I appreciate it. What do you think about Sierra England's vanishing drivers? There are at least 15 person. Well, I didn't know there were that many missing from there. The likelihood is they've gotten a better job, and just didn't tell them. But seriously, at a large place, they'll probably be missing drivers. I don't think it's an England thing, because look, that lady got killed a couple weeks ago down in Louisiana. I mean, it happens. We're out there in the public, and so stuff happens. It isn't any good, right? I'm not saying that's great for sure. But stuff is going to happen. With 1 million drivers, some of them are going to go missing just because there's so many people. Just like there's accidents and stuff every day. So I don't know if it's an England thing or not, for sure. I don't think it's just something England's doing at all. I like the CRST nomenclature that everybody's using as well. That's one I got the most on. People have the most words for CRST. You're new to driving, Pat says. Thank you. Oh, and you're home daily. Seeing you're new and home daily. So that is great. Great. Are you making good money there too? I hope so. And with benefits and everything? Right. Is Landstar a good company? Yeah, I think so. I think Landstar is the closest thing you can do to being an owner-operator, because you get the whole country. You can look at every load, see what it pays, see what the fuel is, see if there's extras like tolls or whatever extra money they're giving on it, and then you decide if you want to take it or not, and then when you take it, it's your load. You want to go home, get a load headed to your house. So yeah, all the loads are there available for you at any time. Oh, and very good, Timothy. You have a lot of these. You've been thinking about these all week out there. So explain this 3-hour extension. All right, so the 3-hour extension is, and I'm a little behind on comments, I know, that what people have wanted, which I don't agree with, is that you'd be able to stop one time per day per your 14 hours at your choosing for up to 3 hours. So it can be any amount up to 3 hours off duty, and your clock would stop. The idea is that you could rest, or you're waiting for traffic or something, like you don't want to go through Chicago at 5 p.m. And that is how the 3-hour extension would work. Once per day, you can stop your clock one time for up to 3 hours. So if you stop an hour, you don't get 2 hours later on it. It's a one-time up to 3-hour stop of your clock. I don't agree, though, because it's 3 hours of unpaid time more per day. That stretches your day to 17 hours. So I'm really not in for it, really. I'd rather I was paid better for the 14 hours than extend my day to 17 hours for really no more money. It's just going to make your thing longer. Mr. Skeptical would love the 3-hour extension. I don't think so. I'm not in for making the day longer, because companies are going to abuse this. Oh, well, you just said, oh, you can put that off duty. I think they're going to force it. And what they say, well, drivers don't have to do it. New drivers are not going to know that. This is how these companies get all these new drivers. They prey on them. They're going to say, well, no, you have this 3 hours and you can just use it off duty. For sure. It's going to be a problem like that. So I'm opposed to it just because I'm not being paid for it. I don't want to make my day longer without being paid. What about military contracts? Do you think it'd be good to have a military contract? Yeah, I would have no idea how to get one, though. I don't know how to get a military contract, for sure. You like to joke with your wife that get more taken out of your check that she brings home in 2 weeks. Nice. Nice way to support your wife. Which number wife is that that you're joking with? If she's one, she'll be the first, right? Do I think mega carriers brainwash their drivers? I think that they use new people and don't train them properly, and then kind of fudge things to get them to do stuff. And it's sad. 11 of them parked and walked away in this protest. Yeah, but they came back because the trucks were gone in a few minutes. Oh, maybe that's England. Yeah, that's certainly true. I-69 Indy to Evansville. Yeah, finish date. They keep pushing it back. They have it down Bloomington down there, but the part coming up isn't done, and they keep pushing it back. Every 2 weeks, they're like, oh, we have to push it back another week. I'm never going to see it done before I retire. They've been talking about that almost since I started driving. Mega carriers are babysitters. Well, everybody's got to start somewhere, right? You're 47 and retiring, and your body is shot from the work you did. Is trucking demanding on your body? Depends what you do. Okay, I mean, if you get a job that's easy, not really. The trucks are much nicer than they were. I think we can all agree with that. Yeah, you're sitting there and you need to stretch or whatever, but look, it's way more comfortable than it used to be. Jim, no matter what, I see that popped up right there. No matter which way I put this up, it depends on the camera. The blue field is to the upper right, okay? But it's showing backwards in the thing. Maybe I'll take it down and just put more Halloween stuff up there. Can you get hit with truck abandon if you walk away from your truck? Yes. You can take it back to the terminal, get everything in writing, take a picture of the truck at the terminal and a picture of the mileage on the truck, really, and keep it all, especially at a company you think there's any problem. Be sure I do that anyway. And make sure you're picked up there and somebody signs for it, and it's a problem. It can be a problem. You must demand that they allow you to do that. Make sure you take a picture of the guy when he comes out. Oh, come and see my truck. Take a picture of him looking at it at the terminal with a time date stamp. I wouldn't even be opposed to like a proof of life holding up the newspaper, the current day's paper, USA Today or something, if they still make that. And take a picture of it. Seriously. Because later, oh, we abandoned it. Well, here's a picture of it at the terminal with the paper. You may need that, and that is serious. You're listening to the CB? That's got to be great. How's the CB over there? Anyway. You're an owner operating, you like the idea of resting off of heavy traffic. Look, I heard that, and I agree with you. What do you think about what I'm saying, which is companies will use it to make drivers sit for 3 hours or 2 hours. They'll say, well, you were at the dock, you were at the shipper, but you had that off-duty. There's your off-duty time. That's what they're going to do. You must agree that's going to happen. Oh, you've been married 11 years? That's great. Okay. I don't know if I'd say that. I wouldn't put her down for that. You like the idea of 30 minutes going away? Yeah, look, at least 30 minutes goes to whenever you want to do it. But I think it goes away, and that adds 30 minutes to the day without making the day longer. And you're going to get paid for that time. So I'm in. In Canada, guys drive 13 hours, but get less per mile. Longer is not better. I don't think working more is a great solution to anything. You should avoid driving for a mega carrier. Yeah, it depends. I do hear guys, look, I hear people write in that are at a big place that have been there for years on a dedicated account, and it pays good. And remember, a large carrier has better benefits just because of their size. The bigger the place, the more benefits. When you work for somebody with 4 trucks, you're not going to get a bunch of vacation and a great health insurance because they just can't afford it. Mr. Skeptical, flatbed is certainly work. It is way hard, which I didn't mention at Central Oregon Truck Company. That's flatbed, it's hard work. I mentioned a flatbed, but look, they're not just handing that money out. It's hard work. Schools get seats. Yeah, the seats are much better in trucks, so I think you could still do it, right? You want to see the 30-minute break disappear? I totally agree. If you were taught trucking basics in high school, not driving, it might be a difference in the accidents per year. Nobody's really taught to drive. I didn't even have to go through driving school to get my driver's license here in Indiana. They had it, but it wasn't required. I don't know if it is now. We don't have any young kids there. But I just went in and got my license. How great is that? Permit, but you didn't have to do anything but get it and hold your permit, and then took it. And the first time I drove a car was at the license test because my parents didn't let me drive. And that was in a 1983 Plymouth Horizon. Yeah, we were styling. Okay, we had a lot of money. We had Plymouth money. Do I know a decent company that hires a recent released felon with 10 years experience? Carolina Cargo's a no-go? Good. Good. Don't go to Carolina Cargo from what people have told me, okay? Why don't you call PTL? I've heard that they are more lenient on that depending on what the felony is. Call PTL and see what they say. What about contract drivers that get a 1099? That's really prominent in the oil field. It's not necessarily legal. I don't think it's legal at all. The IRS determines your 1099 status based on several factors, which you can look on their site. They have a 20-question test that you can use to determine if you're 1099. And most drivers, if you're driving someone else's truck, you're not. Like, who controls your day? That kind of thing. Who has control over the equipment? Who dictates what you do? Who buys the fuel? Can you determine where the truck is maintained? Can you take it anywhere you want? Those kind of questions. Most 1099 drivers that are driving someone else's truck are being misclassified for just on the questions on the IRS's own website. Cab overs were stopped, in the States because the accidents. Yeah, in the 19s. Look, I had a cab over until the mid-90s probably, but I haven't seen one since, and not ready to find another one. It did have a flat floor in it. That was for Ream water heaters I drove for, of all places, with a drop deck van trailer, so they could double stack them, because you couldn't turn them over. They had to be stacked on top of each other. It's more difficult than you thought to get OTR companies to talk to me once you tell them you've been local. That you want recent experience? Yeah. Tell them you've been a driver for all those years and not local and see what they say. Just say, oh yeah, I've been driving. Yeah, absolutely. And if it's at a company that has both over the road and local, like some of these large companies, they run, like Martin is a good example. They have road trucks and day cabs. So if you worked at Martin, oh yeah, I've been a Martin driver. That's it. I'm not telling you to lie to them, but I'm telling you, don't give them information that they don't need to know. I've been a driver. I've been all over the country, that kind of thing. If all that's true. Have you been all over the country? Yeah, I've been all over the country. Maybe not recently, but you know, that's what I'm saying. To get yourself in the door. But don't lie, right? I'm not saying that, of course. Okay, in Vegas area, they advertise their ex-felons. I think you can get a job. I think it's harder. There's no question. Look, 10 years, I would dismiss it. That's how one time, everybody. A misdemeanor, 3 years, felony, 10 years, and to give you a clean record. Because really, it follows your whole life, and that's maybe not fair. If you have changed your life, how can you ever get rid of that? You can't ever put it past you. I'd give everybody another shot, 10 years, clean record. Clean. But that's me. They don't listen, the government doesn't listen to me. Thank you, Wild Bill. I appreciate that. Oh, is that the Wild Bill Anderson? You see cab overs. There are a couple cab overs that run up and down 65 every day that are hauling out flat. There's a guy running a flatbed with some old Freightliner cab over, and it looks like it came out of the who knows when. So you see him, and you'll see him at shows and stuff occasionally, sometimes. But you don't see him. No company's running them, at least that I've seen in years. Doubles and triples isn't a bad endorsement in your experience. Do I have it? Yes, I have all my endorsements, and I think you should get them as well. And that's everybody. Everybody should get all their endorsements. The triples, doubles, right, and tank is just a written test that stays on your license for the rest of your life. You never know when you'll need to use it. I've used all my endorsements at one point or another. Okay, I've driven a bus, right, and all that too. So you just never know when you can get it. Now, you can't get the bus license net right away, and the hazmat is a test that you have to pay for. A lot of companies are paying the fingerprinting now, but doubles, triples, absolutely. It's just a written test. Go down there, get it. It's like $10 one time, depending on your state, right? I always say that it's $50 in New York, okay? Depends where you are. Get it and put it on there, because 10 years from now, we have this set of doubles. Can you go do that? Yes. Yes, I can do that. I can do this. You tell them I'm available for all these things. Worth it. Totally worth it. You're better off getting that kind of stuff, especially those. They're easy to get. You can study in your free time, go home, take the test. You're done. You're easy. Still some on the coast. Yeah, okay, right. You see logging truck companies running cab overs. Nice. Look up at your last comment. They do turn. Yeah. Look, Peterbilt turn tighter. Right. I totally agree. They turn cab overs turn tighter. That's what we're talking about. Yeah, they do. But you know, I'm still out. I'm still out of it. Do I need to get a triple endorsement if you live in state? Well, it's doubles, triples. Okay, it's the same endorsement. Doubles, triples is one endorsement. Get it. You don't have to get it. Like, I'm not making you get it, but you should get it. And doubles, triples, it's doubles, triples endorsement, not separate triples. Go get it. Advanced drainage systems. Nice. Okay, right. Not that one. Guy, right. Look. Right, they don't allow triples, but say they sent you somewhere and you needed to move a triple also. You just never know what the future holds. You don't know where you'll move to, what you can do, where you're going, and it's a one-time. Remember, that endorsement is a one-time test that stays on your license for the rest of your life. Well worth the investment. If you pull them one time for probably 50 miles, you paid the endorsement back. So well worth it. You pull doubles and like them more than pulling 53s. Look, I pulled doubles for Zellerbach paper, right? No problems. I didn't think it was that hard. People always say how complicated it is. They're easy to hook up, and they turn. The second one follows the first one, so you can back them up a little bit, not far. FedEx runs triples, right, but they don't. Some places they can't, like Georgia. Is it worth to get a Twix card? Now, that's a different story. Twix and Passport are different. There's so much freight in the United States, I don't know about a passport unless you're at a place that would pay for it, maybe, and pay you more to go to Canada. And the Twix card, same way. If you don't need it, that's expense, and I don't know that that's worth it. That might not pay off. There's not enough places doing it. If you're at a place that has it and will pay for it, then let them buy it for you. I don't have either of those things. That passport card, a passport, or a Twix card. I've never needed them. And I haven't been to Canada since they required that card, although I did go up there for 3M years ago, but I haven't been there since. So I don't think that's worth it. And you've had your Twix, but you haven't used it yet. Yeah, so, and it expires too. So if you don't use it, it was kind of a waste. So I'm not sure about that. You think your government is going to regulate the industry? They need to raise wages and lower fuel prices. I don't know about that. How do they raise wages in the U.S.? That's a problem because the government doesn't set your wage. They're just setting your time that you can work, and so we need to work to get paid based on that time from the companies. We're still letting them pay us like it's 1975, and that's basically our fault, really. Okay, yeah. So are UPS and FedEx hard to get in? No, they're running ads. They're running ads. Robert, you're welcome. And so, yeah, I-10 port of entry, you should have your passport card. Why? Why won't, it's I-10. Okay, if we're here, you don't need a passport card in the U.S. Why wouldn't it work with a driver's license? That's all you should, need. Why is Maverick making you get a Twix card? Where are they running Twix loads? J.R. Schugel bought you out. Who are you? They just bought you. Who exactly are you talking about? Does FedEx... Oh, okay, I see. They bought... Do I know anything about Schugel? They're another big company, and that is happening like truck stops. That's also happening in trucking. Smaller places being bought out by big companies. You're going to get melded into the J.R. Schugel system. Won't that be great? Yeah, FedEx Ground, they run mostly doubles, but they have some longer trailers, the long ones. Okay, yeah, Super Service was bought by J.R. Schugel. Nice. You'll get more freight, right? Presumably, but you're going to go on their pay system probably. Even if you don't do it right away, you will have to go on there eventually. You won't see any triples in Philly. That's for sure. Do you think it's good for a rookie driver to drive 6 to 8 months coast to coast, including New York with no incidents? Yeah, I think it's good to drive no incidents, no problems ever driving, of course. That should be the key to it. But yeah, should you go to New York City? I don't know, maybe. You're going to have to get paid for it. It's good practice. I mean, you'll learn a lot going in there, like how to sit in traffic and everything. So, should you go coast to coast? Yes. A year. I'd like to see a year on everybody coast to coast, really. But, unless you're never going to go on the road. You wouldn't then have to, I guess. But, yeah, would it be helpful? Yeah, you get to see the country, too. Sleep in truck stops. Meet all the people there, all the nice people. Jim, look, you may get better benefits, too. So, that the good side is, since it's a larger place, the benefits may go up. The downside, your pay could go down, theoretically. What are they saying? I'm sure they're saying it's going to be great. Oh, this will be the greatest thing ever. Don't worry about it. Yeah, everybody's going to love it. They're probably all hugging everybody and everything. You like run at FedEx Ground? You get paid so well for doing these runs. Yeah, I like them. I like R&L as well. The green guys, right. Same kind of deal. All that, Old Dominion, ABF, all these people running doubles. ABF would be better. Union Place, right. Absolutely. And you should probably at FedEx get paid for all or most of your time. If you don't get all of it, I bet you're getting most of it. Maverick said it's for going into ports. Do you go in the port a lot as a flatbed? I tell you, I ran one over the road and never hit a port. And how to keep your doors locked. Exactly. Yeah, I'm going to have to get that. I need to bungee those doors closed. Yeah. You don't need it to go... Oh, to go to Alaska? I guess you would now need one. How many loads go to Alaska from here? Yeah, Twix is for port, right. But I'm saying, is Maverick going into ports where they want everybody to have a Twix card? Is that some kind of policy there? What I was getting at is forcing a driver for 12 cents should be wrong. It should be. It should be. 12 cents is not great. 17 cents is not great. But the government can't come in and dictate pay. Do you really want that? That's the question. Once they dictate one person's pay, they're going to dictate your pay. You don't want that. We have to fight for the pay to go up, not have the government come in and set a pay, because it's never going to be the right amount. It's always going to be too low, because look, who's the government going to listen to? ATA. The ATA, they give them billions of dollars. What do we give the government? $20. Here's $20 to your congressman or whatever. No way. You can't. You don't want to fight the ATA and that stuff. They're too big. Christopher, thank you very much. I appreciate that. You're from New York City and you refuse to take a truck there. Yeah, totally agree with that, Monica, right. You're going with your agree the taking the bonus they give will be taken away. Yeah, that on super service, right. What they're going to do is take away your bonus and you'll go on to J.R. Shugel's plan, whatever the heck that is, which is probably not going to be as great as what you were making. In a seaport, the second form of a D. Okay, right. But a Maverick shouldn't need every driver to have a Twix card, for crying out loud. Most ports don't require a Twix card. They sing with an escort. Well, so you're all set anyway. But if they're requiring, it should be tax deductible, right? If nothing else, you can tax deduct that Twix card price. What about getting a passport for Mexico? Okay, I wouldn't drive to Mexico, period. And Canada, if you need to go to Canada, you're going to need a passport card, which is $80, right? $60, something like that. But no way. Mexico, no. Not going to Mexico. Cross-border, they can bring them here. Yeah, other people with FedEx Ground, 60 cents. I think it probably varies at Gold Dominion depending on your city. But look, that's excellent pay. And you're probably home every day. So what the heck is that? Smith Transport, is that the black trucks, those long black trucks? They have a terminal in Remington. Is that who we're talking about? A shout out here? Why don't lots of people become independent operators anymore? It's a lot of work and a lot of investment and a lot of liability. And if the rates go down, you go bankrupt. I mean, and the regulations you have to follow, emissions, it's just tough. It's tough. Guys doing it, take my hat off that I don't have on to them. It's tough load. It's tough work for sure. You like the CR England video? You drive there, but why don't you leave? I guess is a good question. But maybe they have a dedicated route there too. I've talked to other people even there on dedicated routes that like it. Thanks that you like it even though you're there. So I don't get a lot of love that way. If you have a Twix card, you don't pay for... Oh, they make you pay for an escort? Yeah, do you have 20 grand for down on a new rig? That's a problem. So it takes a lot of money. Wow. So you're paying for an escort. That's amazing. 10 to 15,000 on 100. Yes. You want some... Yeah, I totally agree, right? And, Smith has this terminal up here in Remington. They never... I've never seen that much anymore about them. They had these gigantic long-nosed trucks. They would always hire you based on, we have Law 379 Pete's. That's what they used to have. They're I'm sure they're upgraded now. But I never go to a company because of a certain truck. Although they must think it works. If they're going to post a truck up there, then they must think, wow, this is the way to do it. We're going to have this truck and hire. So there was some company that used to have colors. They used to say, you can come and pick your truck color. This were company drivers. And so they had like 8 truck colors. And I thought, man, that must be expensive. Because what if everybody picks the same color? Then you have all these other colored trucks left over. But who knows? That didn't seem like a great way to recruit drivers. I thought, why don't you just pay people better and give them all the same blue truck or whatever the heck color you have? FedEx Ground is all contractors. Oh, you work for a contractor. All right, so that's what we're thinking about. Okay, like these people in Indianapolis where they say, we are Joe Trucking and we are contracted to FedEx Ground. At least the ones I've seen have good pay. One that I just read the other day, $17.56 per driver. It was a team run home every weekend and drop and hook. Took doubles around and dropped and hook them. That's not bad. I mean, it's 90 grand, almost $90,000. Have I heard of Air Capital Delivered Warehouse in Wichita, Kansas? What have I heard about them? I haven't heard about that company. Maybe Jay at Auto Transport Intel, if he's out there. He's from right over there. Maybe he could tell us about it. He may not be on here. I haven't seen him yet. Some leases through companies are scams. I think most of them are scams. They get a truck for half of all. Thanks for drivers for paying them off. I think if you get the truck from the company, it's no good because you're renting their truck. Remember Arrow. Now, people haven't been driving. They don't remember Arrow. One day, Arrow Trucking just closed. And drivers that were leasing their truck from Arrow didn't have a truck anymore because when you lease it, it isn't your truck. It's their truck. And that place closed and went bankrupt. And that truck was gone because you don't own it. It's theirs. Always have control over your equipment. If nothing else, buy a truck and lease it on to a company. Don't lease a truck from them because you control the equipment. Always have control. Always have control of your equipment is what I'm trying to say. So Pete's and KWs are built for looks. Look, they have aerodynamic ones too. Western Stars are nice. Look, that's probably my favorite truck was a Western Star. I drove years ago, a long nose one. Loved it, right? Super heavy, quiet, right? Weighed a lot, but these were light loads. What the heck was that company's name? I don't remember. Nice truck, though. I remember the truck. The way to lobby Congress and contact them, right? But they're not going to care what we say on the transfers. That's the problem. We can contact Congress, but they don't care. You call them, what do they care? The ATA calls them, and they go, here's money, and they just throw money around. That's what they care about. That's the fight that we're fighting, is that kind of thing. So Congress isn't going to care really what we think, even if you call them. Even if a bunch of drivers call, the drivers just call them, or the ATA gives them money, and that's really what matters to congressmen. Are you allowed only one reset per week? No, you can reset now as many times as you can take 34 hours off duty or sleeper berth or any combination thereof. You'd stay with the crab company if you don't drive for them for a year. Okay, that's different. You didn't say you had a contract, right? So pay that off, right, and then you can move on to do whatever you want. Make sure it's 53 weeks, really, so that they can't say you're a day short, that kind of, and a day late and $1 short. Make sure you stay an extra week. That's what I think. As I tell people, even here on our electronic log, stay 1 extra minute, 31 minutes, because sometimes it doesn't quite click off, and it's just not worth having a violation because of a minute. That's just a recommendation. Can company drivers still deduct the per diem? No. Starting in next April for this tax year, no. That ended for company drivers. But we doubled the exemption. So the standard deduction, right, doubles for people, but they eliminated the per diem for company drivers. Prime is colors and decals. Yeah, right at Prime, I think on your second truck, right, if you lease one and then you get another one, the second time you lease, I think you get to color that and get some changes. Basically can almost order the truck, from what I understand. Do I think 39 cents is good for a new driver? It's not great. I've seen worse. How are you being treated? Are they getting you home? Do you have insurance that you need? And will the pay quickly go up? If the pay is going to rise quickly, it's not great. But if we're staying for a future and they treat you well, I mean, okay, look, K and B, as I always point out, right? They treat people horribly, but they pay good. 50 cents a mile, even for people with not much experience. Is that worth it? Is $1,250 a week worth it if you're treated like you're 1 year old? No. So it depends. It depends. Maybe the insurance is free, like some places are really cheap for you. Maybe they get you home every week or every other day. A lot of it depends. It isn't just, we can't only look at pay. We should be paid more, for sure. But pay isn't 100% of everything. I'd rather stay somewhere that paid less, that was worth it, that treated me well, than a pay that pays more, but it's a nightmare every day. It's a nightmare. That's good for this month, right? Let's see. Do companies still deduct? No, right? Okay, I'm down there. You can use the reset. Well, because of the hours, it's 34 hours, right? So you couldn't do one every single day. You can, and it doesn't have to only be 34 hours. It can be 72 hours or whatever. That's one reset if it's combined together, right? I was surprised the other day. I opened your last video and your contractor ran an ad. Oh, nice. That's great. I never know who that's going to be, right? So I don't have any control of that or anything. So pack our lease is better. Look, always control. Always control. K and B is $78 a week. That's a little high. I pay $64 for 2 people here. But that kind of thing varies, and you got to decide, is the insurance worth it? Is it good? But I think that's a little high. What happens to hours of service? It's right here. Bring it right back. Bring it right back around. We just start out with something, and then it just goes wherever it goes. We're like a river here on this one. I just flow all over the place. I don't like internationals, Rusty. Not my fan. See, this 39 cents we've been talking about, it's not great, but not bad. 6 months, you're getting 55 cents, right, driving the Northeast. And HHG miles, they should pay practical. Everybody should pay hub, really, but then they should for sure pay practical miles at least. That's been a while since we've gotten those. Western Distribution runs long-nosed Pete's. They do. They have really nice trucks. They don't pay anything. 36 cents for experienced drivers. Because somebody talked to them. I did look them up. Because I thought, man, these trucks are great. You choose the chrome, great. I want to choose some money to pay my electric bill. Can I choose that? And no chrome. Other people start at 34 cents. Yeah. You start at 14 cents. Exactly. Before your first year making 47 cents. It can go up. K and B 78. We said that, right? You're getting 58 with 6 years, and you're treated like a person. That's what matters, right? We need to be treated like licensed professionals, because that's what we are. We can't just be, spit upon by our own companies, for crying out loud. It's hard enough. Gone for weeks, and you got to call in and some schmo's going to yell at you for something? Ridiculous. You'd rather lease and be a company driver. No forced dispatch. Yep, that has to be that way, right? You don't have to drive I-40 in your home. But I'm just telling you, I would not lease from a company because I want control of the truck. I have seen companies close. Just close. Oh, thanks, trucking wife. Yeah, I was wondering if you're out there today. At least you're staying busy at work, right? Who am I? I am me, right? I am Mark. Look, I've been driving for 30 years. I don't say that enough. And I've been at my company for 16 years. And so I try to help people, put out some information, maybe talk a little bit on here. And I'm live every Monday at 1. I have a website, truckinganswersnation.com. You should go over there. I have a blog on there. I have a ton of trucking company numbers and all kinds of stuff like that on there. So there's pictures. Send me your pictures if you want them up there. I'll post those up there. I have in-depth trucking company information, all kinds of stuff to do out there. I put a newsletter out every Friday. I write a blog every week on there. So you can sign up for that to join the nation. All that's free. Nothing costs anything over there. Why do most carriers either pay a lot and run aerodynamic trucks or long-nose trucks and don't pay anything? Because they have to put it on their fuel tank. But drivers love it. A lot of drivers, I wouldn't drive anything but a long-nose Pete. Well, I'd rather have more money. And the truck's quieter because it's more aerodynamic. Companies where you want to be right now. As you get older, you may, look into it. But buy a truck yourself. Don't lease it. The company has a problem. You can't leave. TLI, right? Okay, I see. I have a huge list of places. I'm about to take a couple days off of work just so I can do videos. All miles paid, yeah. All miles paid by whose standard? That's what I think. That's the first thing I'd ask them. Household good, practical, hub. What do they mean? Whose standard of all miles are paid? All miles that they say you'll pay get paid. That's what they mean. JB Hunt on the Goodyear count is 60 cents, right? 20 a stop, 15 cents a tire, which is work. Okay, let's not put that out there. Drivers unload, a lot of stops, 1,400 home every weekend out of Columbus. See, but JB Hunt, you can make money. Let's say though, this is work. Unloading tires is not a joke. It's hot in the trailer in summer, and it's a lot of work. So that money you're going to earn. I haven't found a lease purchase that is great because of the control. Because it's my truck. I want to control the truck. Go buy it yourself from somewhere. That's what I think. That's what I think. Scott, thank you very much. Let's say, point me to a good lease, right? And we'll look that up. It's going to have to be, really, really great. You're going to go, I'll be out there in March going to Prime. All right. All right. Don't lease a truck at least. Can we say this? Until you've been driving a year. Because a lot of these places push you into lease. Stick it out for a year, right? Get some experience. Run the truck like it's a lease truck. Run your company truck. Get their numbers on what a lease would cost and run that truck, your company truck, like it's a lease truck and see how much you would make. That's a great way to do it. And you can work each week then and learn how to do all the paperwork, figure all the numbers out. Because if you don't know your numbers, I don't know what to say. Somebody I just saw not a couple weeks ago was putting out their information. Oh, here's all my information. And he was reading off the deductions. And he's like, bobtail insurance. He goes, I don't know what that is. I don't ever bobtail. I'm like, you got to know all these numbers. What do you mean you don't know what that is? So you got to know everything about that truck. That's how you make money when you're leasing that truck. So until you know all that, he had no business leasing that truck. No way. In 99, you started 21 cents a mile. Wow. You could log 590 miles a day. Yeah, well, so that's not bad money to start right then. This is 15 years ago, right? Yeah, 18, 19 years ago. You're quite welcome. I like doing those. I like doing the good company videos too, besides the crap company ones. Cents per mile is great. That you have to get the miles. I think we can all admit here we should get paid by the hour off the electronic log. No year for experience. Yes, I agree, Christine. You need a year and run your company truck like it's a lease truck. Go right in the company if you're going to lease it from them. Say, I want all the numbers. What does this truck cost me exactly? All the insurance and everything. And what am I going to get paid? And then run that truck just like it's being leased. And then you'll see follow it along each week. What would I have made? What would I have made? Then you'll see how it works. Do you think you make more money if you stay out longer? If the company will run you, if you're doing resets all the time, no. Then you could do those at home. But if they'll run you, yeah. Did I ever get Steven's info? Yes. Someone, a astute driver, has sent the information to me. So I have a lot more information from them than I did. But they have yet to give me any information. If you think about leasing at Prime, look up Oliver versus New Prime. Yeah, this case is in the Supreme Court right now against Prime. That is true. They took arguments this week about it. And he's deciding whether or not, the lease drivers are actually company drivers that are just leasing a truck, which they probably are. But the Supreme Court is not going to change that because it would change the entire model of the trucking industry. So I think that case is going to go for Prime. You can all look that case up. I think it's interesting. But I think that the case is going to go to Prime just because of the whole way the whole industry works. These live streams are great. Oh, well, thanks. It's not exactly Spielberg going on here for sure. But I went all out on this stuff, so you'll be turning it more on. Okay, thanks. Yeah, I do some during the week, but those are just pop-up and not every week. We're here live every Monday at 1 p.m., though, for whatever the topic is, and then we just go wherever we go, for sure. Prime needs up their speed, yeah. Yeah. 50-something. I'm passing them going in the mid-50s here in Indiana. Oh, my God. Can we get going, for crying out loud? They can say what they want about fuel mileage. Okay, I get high 8s going 65. So if you can't make money in the high 8s, I don't know what to say. You worked at Stevens. You only went there for training, but you went there for my license. You refused to be under someone's thumb for a year. It's a problem. But if they're getting your license, oh, you already had your license. All right. Yeah, see, some places want you to have a contract even so. I don't agree with that. Glorified company drivers. That's what lease drivers. Yeah, you get better stuff. You get to pick your routes, but then you also get to pay for your own insurance and don't get paid for vacation. So I'm not a huge fan of it anyway. When is the Crab Company of the Year happening? Well, Richard, there will be a vote at the end of the year, which I'll put out here, and there'll be information on the website about it. And then, if it works out, you will all vote on it, right? It's because it'll be up to you. And so then, if it works out, and they are there at the Mid-America Truck Show in March, I'm having a trophy made already anyway, with their name on it. It will be presented to them live. And I will live stream it right here, because I'm going to live stream the show anyway. And we are going to present that to their recruiters live, if they're there, if they have a booth. If not, and they're close, I will take it to them here. If they are far away, it will have to be mailed to them. That is how that is going to work, from a vote from you, because it'll be what you people want of the ones that have been up so far for the year at that point. And so I hope to go live, and everybody that's there will, of course, come with. And I hope that you'll all video it as well. I hope to have at least 100 of you at the booth there at Mid-America Truck Show in Louisville for the presentation of the Crab Company of the Year. And if they have a booth, not all companies come to it. So we'll see how that goes. Thank you, the mate. I appreciate it. Swift just took a day off our home time. Now you get 3 days home. What happens if you're gone more than 3 days? They take your truck? Swift has to be the #1 crab company? I don't know about that. Not anymore. Not looking at these other places. What happens, though, if you're off at Swift more than 3 days? Throwing tires is no harder than flatbed. Look, it's all I'm saying is it isn't easy. People think that they'll just go in and roll them off. It's not quite as easy as that. Okay, let's put it this way. It's work. It will keep you in better shape. So there's that, too. You're about to pay yours off. Yeah, people do. Look. People go through, get a lease, pay it off. I totally agree. I'm just not a fan of it. The trophy should be a cow flop. Look, I couldn't find that. There is a picture of a trophy that I am considering on my blog on the truckinganswersnation.com blog. Go back through the blog. About a week or so ago, I posted a picture there. And you can check it out right there. That's what I'm considering at the moment. And it will be engraved as well with their name on it. You're voting for May. Yeah, that is tough. I saw that too. I thought, I don't get to vote because I'm involved in it, as they say, but I get paid mileage plus stops. But I think that every driver should get hourly. Thank you, dboy611. What daily habits would you recommend to new drivers to succeed? Well, number one, unfortunately, I see this too much. Get a shower. Get a regular shower. I'm sorry that I have to say that. But yeah, look, daily habits, you're there to work, right? So get to work. Each day, get up, be ready to work. When it's sleep time, get your sleep and be very efficient at managing your time. Managing your time. Be very efficient about it because that's how you're going to make money. If you run out of time because you're not efficient, that's going to cut down on your load. So be good at trip planning. Be very efficient at managing your time. And as winter comes, what I just posted today, get some food in that truck. You can get stuck on 80, but people are just saying they're in ice on Wyoming already, for crying out loud. That's crazy. That's crazy. Send them a toilet seat. I thought about getting a toilet seat bronze, but I think a trophy would be great. By the way, the Good Company of the Year is going to get a trophy also. We can't forget about that for excellence in transportation. So they're also going to get a trophy for sure. We can't, because I like that. Great. I want the Good Company to be, notified so drivers can see it, because that's where we should work. They're also going to get a trophy for sure, and live as well. If they're there, they may or may not have a booth, and you'll be able to vote on that as well. Yeah, look, Mr. Canada, look, there's no excuse, at least every other day, okay? Don't be stinking it up out there. Monica, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Chris, the new W990, is a super, I saw pictures of it. I was hoping it was going to come by here. It's not. It looks high-end. That's going to be nice. I don't know what company will put that on. So hopefully we'll see some of them on the road. It's not very fuel efficient. I mean, if you're going to buy a truck, that's your number one cost. Cut down on the fuel cost. So for me, that'd be a no just because of that. Because it's running a business. We're not, it's not a fashion show out there. We're trying to run a business and be the most efficient. A Cascadia and the W990, it pays the same per mile. Is it normal to have to do a 34-hour restart every 8 days? Look, if you get to do a 34-hour restart, then they're at least rolling you. At least. When you don't get to do one, when you're running six hours a day, then you're not making a lot of money. So if you're on the road and have to do one, at least you're rolling. All drivers should be paid more over 40 hours. All drivers should get hourly plus overtime past 40 hours. Every driver, right off of their log, on-duty time and driving, and then everybody'd log legal. Nobody'd be speeding. There wouldn't be all of that because you'd have no incentive to do that. You would just run legal every day because you get paid. You fill up the truck, you get paid. You stop at a shipper, you get paid. You're waiting for paperwork for an hour after they say you're unloaded, you get paid. You get paid for your time. That's what we should work for. Oh, Monica, okay, good, good. Hopefully a free shower, but that's good. Thanks for coming in. I appreciate you showing up today. We're live every Monday at 1, every Monday. I might get arrested for trespassing. I'm going to be at the Mid-America Truck Show. 40,000 drivers, tons of people there. Hopefully many of you will be there to film it as well at the truck show. I think they'll be pretty nice in front of 100 cameras. That's what I'm thinking. So what are they going to say about it, right? Joshua, thank you very much. I appreciate that. We're the only industry that doesn't get paid more for working. Since the Fair Labor Standards Act, they exempted transportation because they thought it was a good idea then. And it turns out it's a horrible idea, but we've allowed it beyond that. We still accept it. We allow it, and we cannot do that. You're still waiting for the bills? Oh my God, 9:30 when though? I guess that depends where you are. You've been watching YouTube and talking to drivers for 6 months? Okay, yeah. Get your affairs in order and save money. Look, the best thing to do if you're single is pack up your house, put it in storage, and go live in the truck for 5 years. That'd be the best thing and save money like crazy. That's life-changing money, if that's possible. So that'd be the best thing to do, if you can do it. Non-Crap Company of the Year, RST. Yeah, I've seen their trucks around too. Flatbed is the way to go. Is no sitting around to load and unload 90%. Well, I would sit a lot at U.S. Steel. There'd be like a line of trucks because we'd bring coils in from Cleveland And so that was my problem with it. Otherwise, it wasn't too bad. And the time doesn't seem like as much time because you are working at least when you're tarping and stuff. So the time goes by better anyway. So it's 1:30. Yikes, it's 2:30 here. What is going on? And you've been since 9:30. That's 4 hours. You better be getting paid for that time. Of course, that's all on duty time, correct? Waiting for paperwork, so I know we're logging that legal. Wouldn't there be a cap if truckers got paid hourly? There shouldn't be. Who would cap it? Here again, the government can't cap the pay, not in the United States. Crab company needs to be Western. You know, they have really low pay considering their trucks. They don't pay well. I totally agree. I keep thinking, keep enough food for 3 days. Yeah, you should have I'd say, couple of gigantic things of peanut butter and some crackers, ramen. I don't like ramen in the truck because I got to make it. I want only stuff that I don't have to make. I've sat on the side of I-80 for 2 days while they shut the gates, okay? You want to have everything contained where you don't have to work about anything. So in case you can't heat anything up, I say, beefaroni peanut butter route. Yeah, I know it isn't healthy, but if you're sitting in the truck, you don't have to do anything with it. You can just heat it up and just pop it in your mouth, right? Team driving is horrible. I don't even think it's safe. People don't like that. There's no way at the end of a week you've gotten any kind of great sleep bouncing around the back of a truck on these roads. No way. You waited at the plants. You waited. Yeah, R&D is waited driving flats. You can wait. It depends. Some plant depends where you go. Don't adjust ramen for blood pressure. Okay. Yeah, they have a low salt one, don't they? You're currently waiting for gunite to be unloaded. All right. High in sodium. Yeah, that's what I think too, right? It's legal to log off the sleeper berth when you're waiting a shipper. If you're in the sleeper, is it legal to log in the sleeper? If you're in the sleeper, you can log sleeper time. All the DOT says is if you're resting in the sleeper berth compartment of a vehicle so equipped. So, theoretically, if you are resting in the sleeper berth of a vehicle so equipped, you could log sleeper time. But if you're waiting at the window for paperwork, that's on duty time. Okay? Waiting for paperwork is on duty time, especially at the window. You agree sleeping is bad, but team isn't. I just can't do it. I've talked about that. I just can't do it. Aren't you nervous at all? Even if you know that person, every bump, I'm just too nervous about it, I guess. But, wherever, if me and the wife go somewhere, I always drive as well. So maybe it's just me, right? I just always drive. Wherever we're going, I drive. Okay, so you're in bed. All right, that's sleeper time. Maybe if they keep it another couple hours, you'll have a whole break. Of course, that's no good. The company you work for doesn't run longs because we don't go outside of a 100 air mile radius. Perfect. So right now, though, to not run longs, you have to be back and released from duty within 12 hours of your start time. They're thinking of changing that as well. And they should pay you hourly. Right. Dante is a solo kind of guy. That's most drivers, right? And it's too nerve-wracking. It's too nerve-wracking. They hit the horn. Oh, my God, I'm dead. Huh. You drove with your brother, but it's a personal preference. Look, if you can do it, right, more power to you. And, I don't have a brother, so that'd be a problem, but I just can't do it. I don't think it would matter to me who it was. For me, I'm out. Dads are the only people to trust while driving in the bunk. I don't know. I just couldn't trust anybody driving in the bunk. Do I know a good company that drives strictly Western? Yeah, well, not strictly Western, I guess. Well, no, Oregon, Central Oregon Truck Company has a Western division. So, yeah, that's just last week's video. Check them out. You might do a split. Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. You could split. You got over 2 hours already. Okay, Robert. Yeah, no problem. Tell us the best truck. Western Star, right? I've always liked Western Stars. All right, overall, I think they look better, and they just seem to be classier. Inside, it was made well, quieter. There seemed to be better attention to detail to the truck, where it's just quiet in the truck. So, but for now, running as a company driver, when and I've driven a couple different kinds of trucks here, I like my Cascadia. I think it's set up good. It runs quiet, much better than it was. So that's, for me, Western Star. Volvo, look. Volvo shifted better. I'm in with the shift, but I just am not I'd rather a Western Star. You gave the shipper a post with your door phone and bill later. Go back to your truck. That's not good. They may forget about you. He did 35 hauling cattle, your dad. Okay, well, so you could team with your dad doing that. Right. See, still, for me, see, that's a personal thing. For me, it's just, I can't do it. I just don't have the confidence, no matter who's driving. Gunite is the lining sprayed in pools. Oh, that's pretty good. Oh, so you're hourly. That's fine. Yeah, 1,000 from 10,000. That's correct, U-Haul. Nearly to 10,000. You know what happens then? Then we go to 11,000. That's what we do. So 1,000 away from 10,000. So I'll put that out there one time. If you haven't subscribed yet, it's time to do so now. How about that? So yeah, you only drove west for Swift. A lot of companies out there do, though. They'll have a Western division where they have like 11 Western states or whatever. And like I'm seeing Chris run this Volvo, you know, I'm just not as huge a fan of them. I like them. I think they're quiet, and it shifted the best truck I've ever had as an automatic, because we had an automatic Volvo. And so I liked it for that, but I'm still a fan. And because they asked me my favorite one, I'm still sticking with Western Star. Walmart only runs regional. Look, I wouldn't do Walmart because of the phone thing. I'd probably go to Walmart through another carrier. Walmart can get your phone records, which I think is worse than a camera, and you have to agree to it when you start there, because we talked about this and I checked it out. So I'm not a fan of it at all. You got to post a pic, but no. Email is mark@truckinganswersnation.com. So that's what we can do. We can send it to right there. mark@truckinganswersnation.com. You hate the 2013. It's a piece of crap. Part of it, of course, is how has it been taken care of. You know, they kind of fall apart after a while, but they're not taken great care of here either. How do you get a copy of all your PeopleNet records with your logs from a company you left? Oh, that's an interesting question. Oh, they made it that you can't log in, and they're trying to hide what was going on. Well, if there's something fishy going on, they're probably not going to give you a copy of it. But if you still remember anybody there, have them get them, if that's possible. You know, if somebody's on your side there. Otherwise, probably nothing. So if there's anybody else, if anything's going on at your place that you're not sure about at all, take a picture of it. It doesn't cost anything now to take pictures, and just save them in a file that says, you know, pictures of funny things going on or whatever, and just keep them, because later if you don't need them, you can just delete them, right? Anything fishy at all. Like whenever I drop a trailer, if there's any damage, I take a picture of it. Because then later they're going to be like, oh, look at that damage you left. I go, no, this was the trailer here before that or whatever. So pictures. You may not be able to get to it. Please post your questions again if I don't get to it. It's going by quickly. There's a lot of people and it's going by quickly. I'm not trying to ignore anybody. Believe me. What's the gun law? We've talked about that. Not sure. Not 100% sure. It would depend on your company. I probably wouldn't take one. But I think you can carry one if there's reciprocal. I'm not 100% sure on that. Well, you can send logs to yourself. Yeah, but they're saying they don't work there anymore, so they don't have access to that PeopleNet. Have I driven trucks with cats? Absolutely. I've driven most of the different kinds of engines. Penske rents Volvos with 425 is 10-speed. Look, that Volvo shifter, if it's a Volvo shift, whatever it's called, I-shift, super great. And it anticipates. It did way better. This Eaton 12-speed that I have in this Cascadia, terrible. When you're coming up to a light and the light changes, you step on it, nothing. It's got to think. Oh, flicks numbers go to neutral, and you're just coasting along. I'm not a fan. PeopleNet is like Qualcomm in the truck. It's a way to communicate with your company. Update on the hours of service, nothing yet, right? You have through the 10th to comment at regulations.gov. Please go over and make your comments known, and then they'll be doing whatever they're going to do, you know, soon. So, but we need to comment. You've only got until the 10th. Couldn't you get 2 phones? I could, but you shouldn't have to. Walmart doesn't have any right to my phone records. I mean, that's stuff you do out of the truck. Even the camera's one thing. They're only watching you at work. If they get your phone records, they know who you called the whole month or the whole week or the whole time that they get the records for. Maybe you called another company for a job. How about that? Maybe you called HR on somebody in the office. Okay, so that's even worse. I think that's worse than the camera. The gun rule's easy. You passed the metal detector on the way to work. Where are we working with that? Do I like cats? Yeah. Pulled great, right? Real puller. 425 cat head, dual stacks on a those were on a Columbia, which was unusual. Nice. Roller. Kaiser. This is this flatbed company on the West Coast, right? West Side, right? Love it. I thought pay great. Assigned trailer and truck, if I'm thinking of the right company. Run it nationwide, 18 speeds in a company truck. Right, I'm in. If I was going to start now, where would I go? Man, it would be a tough choice. If I didn't know anything, though, I'd probably get stuck at one of these places that was going to just pay my school. Probably one that came to my truck school. That's how I probably would honestly go. And so I'd probably go to a van, though, because I wouldn't know any different. And it might be different if you, depends who came to the truck school and probably just had the better deal there. And that's probably how it works for a lot of people. Oh, you got a 10-speed? Fine. Yeah, that'd probably be better. But the iDrive works good too. There are a lot of DOT regulations that are catch-22. That is correct. For a current CDL holder, what is a good company to check out? I have a whole group of companies that you can check out at truckinganswersnation.com. And on there are trucking companies doing it better. I have a bunch of companies on that page, and you can look about those. Can you call me later? Get to you on Facebook. Yes, send a message to me, right? I try to get all these different messages. People message me in many different ways. I answer every email. So Mark at truckinganswersnation.com is the best way to get a hold of me. I do, I have a Facebook page, Trucking Answers. I'm on Twitter with Trucking Answers. I'm on Instagram with Trucking Answers. So I have a Teespring store, Trucking Answers. But the best way to get in touch with me is right there on email. Then I get them in those. I promise to answer every email. I try to get all the comments, but those get answered. Do I think $720 a month is high for health insurance? Oh, yes. Holy mackerel. Walmart checks your phone. Keep 2 phones. Yeah. But you shouldn't have to buy a separate phone because your company's snooping in your phone records. That's worse than a camera. We need cats back. They're done. Emissions, put them out of business. Hello, Roy. Good afternoon to you. They don't want to pay you for running. Yeah, I totally agree. You should be angry. Oh, thanks for popping in 1 second, 10 minutes, whatever you could do. Maybe 30-minute break. We're here every Monday, by the way, at 1 p.m. Eastern for everybody that didn't know it. Is law enforcement talking about taking DEF out of the truck? I've heard some talk of it coming out, but nothing that has really come out to anything, so I don't see it happening. I'll watch this in post-production. Yeah, thanks. A ton of post-production on it, right? Loud pipes save lives. Yeah, on a bike. But in a truck, I don't want it loud where it's droning all day. I'm not a fan of it. I've had the stack out here on a W900, and I don't like it. Over time, it's just tiresome. Yeah, you paid $5,000 already for your health. Yeah, see, I don't think that's a good price. And just compared to other places that I've looked at, $720 a month is a lot of money. I mean, you could buy health insurance yourself for that. So unless you are buying it yourself, that's way too much. Any company, it should be less than that. Do I think it's worth it to work in the oil fields? If you want to make a lot of money and you're at a good place, now I've just had somebody write to me, which I'll be doing a video about a company that's changing their pay. They lowered the pay in the oil fields. Who does that? So you'll have to make sure you get at a place that pays you. But I've seen tons of ads for it, and now they're lowering the pay. I don't understand it. Nobody lowers your pay like that. You'd love to get rid of the DEF. Well, it takes a couple minutes for me to fill it out. I guess I'm not paying for it, so maybe it depends if you're paying for it. Oh, yeah, don't the straight pipes give it a nice, cool sound? Yeah, but again, the cool sound doesn't pay my bills. Lunch break at CDL school. Oh, right. Where do you want to tell us where you are, what school you are, and if they're feeding you have to feed yourself. It's up to you. Health insurance is pretty good at $0. I think that's a little better price. So that's an interesting comparison between two companies. So $720 a month is over $8,000 a year that you could put in your pocket at a place that has free insurance. So what if it's 2 cents less or a pen? So that is a huge, huge difference. Will you ever see reasonable, constant, great paying freight in the future? No, freight is always going to be set by the market, and great paying, I guess, depends on how much it costs to be moved. KVS is a decent oil field company. Oh, they're in California. That's interesting. Oil field in California? They say it's better to get an older truck without emissions. Look, you're driving a truck that's not a 99 or older. That thing, what if it falls apart? That's not for me. I mean, you're asking the wrong person. I want a warranty. It just bothers me. Do I drive at night? Yeah, I prefer driving at night, right? Because there's less traffic. There's more nuts, but less traffic. So with less traffic, I can see the nuts better. But so I'm in for the nights. The scales are closed usually. That's a benefit. These new trucks have LED headlights. Our trucks have LED headlights. It's like daylight. Pilot and flying are your favorites. They're always packed. Yeah, I love the loves. As I've said, I'm here. I'm waiting for them to come and give me free stuff, which they've never done. But I am a Diamond Loves person, and I really am a fan. So I don't just talk about it. I actually go there. I'm an actual customer. Loud pipes are scientifically proven. Yes. I think Peterbilt will back you up on that. I think there's science on that. I'm saying I work off my 14-hour clock because you hand unload. If they paid hourly, my money would be capped. Oh, I see. Yeah, but we don't want to work off the clock, though, right? You should get paid better for that 14 hours, especially to hand unload a truck, so you don't have to do that. That's what I'm saying. I don't want you to work more. I want you to get paid more. How about you got a raise and you could work less to make the same money? That's better. It means you're not making enough money. Do I wear glasses or contacts? I wear glasses to drive. What ritual do I have to take to Walmart? I don't shop at Walmart. Drive at night is a great way to throw down mileage. Yes, that is an excellent point. Right? You can just roll. Okay? You're not going to find anywhere to park, and then you can park during the day where everybody is gone. There's parking. And at night you can roll. Scales are usually closed. In Indiana, we don't have any money because it all goes in the governor's pocket, so the scales are closed most of the time, but they're always closed in Indiana. You go around the country, scales are closed. What's better than that? You don't have to worry about anything. You can just roll. And I'm not saying we're doing anything illegal. Dropping a scale takes time. We're using our time up for nothing. Right. Truck money is more important than the truck looks. I totally agree. I mean, if we're going to buy a truck, and that piece of, which is just a piece of equipment, a tool like a wrench, it should make us the most money. So it should be the most efficient truck. And I'm not telling you to buy an old junker. I don't ever say that, right? It should be a newer truck with a warranty from the manufacturer. That's what I think, because stuff is super expensive to fix. So, but I don't want a truck that gets 5 miles to the gallon. And they can plug it in and you can see what the lifetime mileage of that truck is. If that says 5.1, I'm like, no, thank you, unless you're buying the fuel for it. Do company drivers get paid the mileage or percentage? It totally varies. It varies across the industry. Some are hourly, mileage, percentage. Just depends where you work. How many times am I stranded? I have been stranded on the road a couple of times, and I've been stranded at truck stops more often because I learned. And then once Google traffic and stuff started coming out, and the internet started getting on phones right after the dinosaurs got killed by the asteroid, and they started having cell phones. You could look up. Wyoming actually has an excellent website, always has for this, where it shows exactly where the road's closed and everything, and it's very good. And so I would look ahead and just park before I got there. Why? I'm not running all the way up to the bad area and stop. So I would stop in advance, park at a good spot, and sit there. And that way I was at a truck stop, so I could go in and have facilities and stuff like that. Then I recommend everybody do that now. It's way better than it was for that. This was on a little tiny LCD screen. What's a good free load board? Now, that's something that I can't help out with, really. I don't do anything with load boards as a company driver. I would recommend Jay, because he's a dispatcher. He uses load boards at Auto Transport Intel. You check him out on YouTube, right? So, and he's live tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Central. Check him out. He does all the load boards and stuff. As a company driver, I don't, but as a dispatcher, he does. So he knows a lot about load boards. How does percentage work? Percentage works like this. The load pays X amount, say $1,000. If you're 23%, you get $230. And sometimes they say it pays only a part of that, or it pays after fuel or whatever. And so whatever that total gross is after all that, you get a percent of that. And a lot of them will pay you mileage to run empty. It's usually a set amount. And some don't. I got percentage when I ran a flatbed, 23%. And so I didn't get any money to run empty. Of course, what do I know at 22 years old? Is mileage paid for a city driver bad? Yeah, probably, unless you're getting a lot of miles, right? City drivers should get hourly, for sure. You don't want to run around town on mileage. They're making a ton on that. How much of your on-duty clock should you try to use every day to maximize your hours? As much of it as you can get paid for. You should, as much of it as you get paid for. So whatever parts you're getting paid, that's what we're going to want to maximize. Don't buy a Pete 372. I will keep that in mind. Yeah, as a company driver, either way, right. Yes, his Pete does look good. Hopefully he'll be driving that on the road soon. I do need to change that pic. Oh, right. Now that you have fenders. Right. Oh, good. Update it. We'll all like that. Have I ever hit an escape or runaway ramp? No. I came down from North Carolina, Boone. It seems like Boone. Oh, this was a long time ago. Down a long road there, 127. Oh, this is like the ancient past. And coming down there, and man, I'm smoking the crap out of that truck. No Jake. Nice. International, no Jake. Not that long of driving. Right? And by the time I got to the bottom of that, man, I was super smoking. And there was a ramp, and I thought about taking it. But I did not take it. And at the bottom, I had to sit there for like 30 minutes for the smoke to stop and change, basically, and learned a very good lesson about going down mountains. Because no one had taught me, and not really a mountain there, but I didn't really learn until then, and that was a very good lesson. But I've never actually used the ramp, although that one I probably should have, probably. What do I think about the guys doing recruiting? Look, if people want to recruit for their company, people, I say I don't recruit, which is true. Their company whoever's doing recruiting, maybe it is a great company. So really, if you think it's a great company, maybe you should recruit for them to get people to come there and say, look, it's so great here. You should come and work here. So it's probably totally legitimate. So, but, until we check in the company, we don't have any way to know that. But if you truly like your company and think it's a great company, I think you should maybe recruit for them if you want to. I keep them out of my videos because if I start mentioning them, they're going to say, look, now we're friends with this company, or we know this person and he called us, so I don't want any grief out of them because I've been there a long time. So I leave them out of it, and I leave the recruiting out of it. But would I say work here? I've been at my company for over 16 years, which is a super long time in the industry. And right now it's easy to get a job. So that should say something about a company for sure. Let's see. Truck stops need to have spots for doubles and triples. Yeah, there should be some pull-throughs, but then, right, and ban the pickups and campers. All there's going to be if you put the pull-throughs, even if you put doubles on there, what's going to happen? They're going to fill up with other drivers because they're lazy. That's the case. And you'll go in and say, hey, truck stop, I need to park this doubles there. And they go, well, there's nothing we can do about it. And so that'll be the end of that. How much should be used to maximize your clock? As much as possible that you can make money on. Same thing. You should maximize it to make money. All your time being paid, you should make money on, for sure. I have not heard back from May. I'm waiting to hear from them. I heard from a number of drivers from May Trucking that said, oh, I've only had X dollars or whatever taken out of my check. Like it's okay to deduct money out of your check to pay for fuel in a company truck. People are like, oh yeah, it's not that much. It's $20, $30 a week. I'm like, are you kidding? Like, that's more than I've had taken out of my check for a company truck in 30 years. So ridiculous. So will I hear from them? I'm still waiting. They know how to get a hold of me. What's a fair premium pay for hauling hazmat? Is it worth it? If it pays, yeah, it should pay a dime, I think. A mile or, a few bucks an hour to haul it. You got to put the placards and have all these extra rules. So, yeah, absolutely. It should pay extra. I think it should pay a dime. Some places, although I've seen some places that say if you get your hazmat, we'll pay you like 3 cents on all your loads. And no matter if it's hazmat or not. And that's not bad, too. And I think as a company driver, they should pay for you to get it if they want you to get it. That's what I think. They do pay where I am, and I do know a lot of places pay it, and they should pay it. They should. And if not, I'm not a tax expert. I don't see why that wouldn't be tax deductible if you had to pay for it yourself. Some of the pickups with campers are haul-off drivers that work in the RV industry delivering. They are, but there should be double spots because they can't back up. Even a guy with a pickup truck can back that thing up, as this song goes. Are most company drivers paid by mile or percentage? I don't know. I think it varies. I see, a large mix of both. Have Walmart stopped allowing truck overnight parking? It's Walmart by Walmart. It depends. Here, we've got 3 of them here in Lafayette, Indiana, and they're full of trucks all the time. So here they don't seem to mind it. It just depends where you are. And some of them, it's like some kind of city ordinance as well. So then you can't park there. I guess the benefit for hauling for like an outside carrier on a Walmart dedicated is you can still park at Walmart. Because I've talked to these people about that. And they say absolutely, if they have a Walmart trailer, they get to park at Walmart whether there's parking or not, which is nice. Is there any freight you or your company would refuse? Maybe livestock? Well, they would have to have authority to do that. We don't do any of that here. So would I do it? I don't know. I think it'd be a problem. You know, I've never done livestock either. So would I refuse it here? I'd take an empty trailer around. I'd probably take whatever they want to take, but we don't do livestock. You know, that's a specific kind of thing. 100 a load. It depends how long the load goes, though. I like the mileage, and the longer load pays even more. Radioactive should pay more, yes. Okay, that kind of hazmat should pay more than, you know, your general corrosive hazmat. Do I prefer flat or high top? Bigger the better in there, man. I want some room to stretch out in there. They're hauling Freightliner Coronados with 11 liters and a 6x2. That's crazy. Why are they getting this gigantic truck and only putting 11 liters in it? Yes, you've seen a lot of Walmarts that allow trucks, correct. Okay, you're in Chicago. Yeah, my hometown, grew up in Hammond. Lived in Chicago for a while. Had many local jobs up there. Park Ridge Transport, that was where I worked. Right, and hauling containers around Chicago, been all the rail yards. Love it. Worked up there at Frito-Lay for a while. Nice. What's my advice about winter driving? Get ready for it. It's coming. It's out west already. And just take your time, right? Really, look, right, kidding aside of that, take your time. Don't do anything you can't do, right? If you don't think you can do it, I'd rather you parked than get in an accident. Oh, you're quite welcome, Lauren. Thanks for coming in. But no matter who it is, if you think it's unsafe, you need to park. And that's, no matter what your company says, that's for everybody. I don't care who you are, right? If you think it's not safe, park it. And tell them, it's not safe, I'm not going anywhere. I don't care what their policy is. You park that truck if you don't think it's safe enough for you to drive. And it doesn't matter if everybody else is going. If it's unsafe for you, park. You don't want an accident. You want to run people over. No way. You've never seen a no Jake brake sign? We got them in town here. So no Jakes, right. You love winter driving? And look, I tell people that's where you make your money. Some are easy, right? I make my money in the wintertime. Those wintertime when that load shows up, that's why they're paying me. Do I love the mountains? Yep, mountains, love it. Now that I can understand how to get down one. Yeah, their signs are all over in California. They're all over everywhere. Winter driving, you have 2 pair of boots. That's an excellent. And extra socks. Your boots should be waterproof, of course. Get a winter coat that's waterproof. You know, get ready to be bundled up. But waterproof boots, mandatory. Step outside that truck. Oh, R&D Trucking, good. Thank you. See you later. Thanks for popping in. We're here every Monday. Don't forget. No load in the trailer's worth your life. That's correct, or anybody else's. If you think it's unsafe, you get to park. You are the final determination on what is safe in that truck, no matter what anybody says. No matter policy, nothing. Ice cleats, yeah, they hand them out here. I'm surprised we don't have them. I'll have to check, right? They'll be handing ice cleats out pretty soon. You see no engine, you blast the air horn. That's where those big stacks work, right? Nice. Snowing badly, no snow plows. You could call in sick. Yeah. Well, of course, Canada, right? You're more used to it, right? If you're from Canada there. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We work it here. Yeah. Ice cleats. That's not a bad idea. They do hand them out. You can get those. Only on ice, right? The white knuckle rule. If you're gripping the steel wheel so hard your knuckles are white, park it. Jeanette, that's good. You know, I try to go, half speed limit rule, which is what I think on the highway. If you can't maintain at least half the speed of the road, it's probably really bad out, and maybe you should park it as well. So 25, 30 on the highway, you're not making any progress anyway. And so maybe let's think about parking it. That's just, what I'm thinking there. By the time you're down that slow, it's pretty slow. But each person's got to have their own thing. It's each road. You just never know. Some days it's icy, forget it. Some days it's packed snow, and we're rolling it right along. Get new winter blades, put those on. Get your windshield washer fluid set up for winter time. Get that alcohol out for sure. Thank you, Ryan. I appreciate it. There's plenty to watch, 180 some videos. Always call and ask. Well, trucker path reviews are full. I've seen this trucker thing where it says where you can park. I'm just a little nervous parking at Walmart. It's like a last resort. Last resort, right? Try and get in a truck stop first. You carry full winter gear through the summer. Oh, you're in Wyoming. Yeah, if you're going through there, you never know when it's going to snow out there. Would I go 80 or 85 if the truck went that fast? You're darn right. I had a truck years ago that went 88. And yeah, I would roll that thing along. 13 speed, 88 miles an hour flat out. Yep. And believe me, that's fast. Fuel prices are going up at 82. 82 miles an hour, yeah, but I was a company driver. Don't care. Didn't care. Flying it, right. So that's how I did it. Oh, I didn't know you had to be a subscriber of that. Do I think it's better with more weight? More weight. I'll put it up front on my drive. That's how I do it, if I can. I slide those tandems in the trailer back so I can get as much weight on the drives, right? And I want to bite in and get rolling. After hours good, still fresh chicken. Yeah, you know, they have the rotisserie rolling. Get some food in there if you can get parked. Exactly. Effortless is with me. More weight on the drives. That's how I do it. I roll the tandems back as far as possible. Or if I'm having the load loaded, I load it up front, right, and get that weight up front. Yeah, that's correct. Slide the car, let the boss roll. That's his problem. He should turn truck down. That 88 miles an hour, you can get some miles doing that. Yeah, you can get a lot of miles doing that. Truck stop, well, you know, best food is kind of subjective, right? So that depends. Sit down, right? The world's largest truck stop has like the biggest buffet in the world, which is Walcott, Iowa. Did the government stop trucking manufacturers from making twin and tripsticks? No, nobody stopped it from doing it. It's just, I don't think personally anymore, I don't think you need all those gears. I had a twin stick Mack dump truck years ago, and trying to drive the thing around town's a mess. I've never driven 3 sticks. It'd be even a bigger disaster, and you don't need that anymore. You don't need to do it anymore. There's plenty of power now. 13 speed, to me, is plenty. Unless you're overweight or something like that. Chris, hourly is totally the best. How fast can you put on chains? 15 minutes. Depends on the weather and where you're putting them on. It's not long, you know, to put them on. And like I just wrote today about that. Get those chains out, lay them out, make sure they don't need to be fixed, that they're not anything. Oh, right. Who's saying that right? That's great. Somebody just beat me to it, Lonnie. Make sure your chains are ready to go. Correct. I put that on the blog today at truckinganswersnation.com/blog. And I said, look, check those chains today. Get the links. Check them. Make sure they're not rusted. Get them fixed now before you need them. 2.6, yeah, duplex. Exactly right. I had it. Thought it was a mess trying to drive it around all day. How come they stopped adding old school stripes? I don't know. You can add stripes. I mean, they're easier to sell if you have just one color, right? And so I think that's why a lot of company trucks do it. White, blue, red, whatever their orange, right? Whatever their color is. I think they can do it. Yeah, 3 sticks was a disaster. I've never driven one of those, okay? Red wants to know, what are auto chains? A lot of school buses use these, and you can get them on a truck. It has a chain that spins just like this in front of the tires, right in front of the back tires, okay? So this thing is spinning. You hit a button or a switch on the dashboard, and it turns. With the air, turns it, and it throws chains under your tire as you're driving. So then when you turn it off, the chains, they get sucked back into this thing, and they're gone. Automatic chains. All the school buses around here that run rural routes have them, and a lot of states use them. And so that's how the auto chains work. And why semis don't have them, I have no idea. Why they still make you put them on. They probably still make you hang chains, even if you have auto chains, but I don't know about that. I've never really looked into that. I think that's interesting. Some construction zones are entrapment. Well, of course, we shouldn't be speeding. How about that? Construction zone, whatever the speed is, that's where I'm at. Did I like driving it? No. I didn't like driving it. Sat around a big line all day to unload, and got paid by the load. And then you had to go get another load and get paid for doing that. And then you'd go sit in a long line and wait to unload. I didn't like it. I know I need to get bungee cords for chain tensioning. Yes. You have to ask the company if they're covered. All that should be provided, in my opinion, but they may or may not do it. And don't get the round ones, the round stretchy bungees. Get the flat black ones because they don't have as much stretch on them. 6 a tire plus extras. That's what I say, 6 an axle, right? Plus extras on the bungees. That's how I do it. Well, 3, I guess, 6 side plus extras to for your chains. If you're going to chain up. Some companies don't want you to chain up or whatever, so it doesn't matter. Oh, you're welcome, sir, out there, Robert. Thoughts on team driving? No thank you to me for teams. I can't take somebody else driving, and I personally don't think you get any sleep when you're teaming. And so somebody else driving me around, it's just not going to happen. Even the wife hasn't driven me. I bet she's driven me less than 10 miles around in, nearly a quarter of a century. That's true. So I just drive everywhere. I assume my punishment someday for my life will be I don't get to drive, and I'll have to be driven around by people, at some point. But until that comes, I drive myself around. No matter where it is, how long I've been up, we got to go somewhere, I drive. Canadian drivers are not allowed to be working on the dock in the U.S. I wonder why that is. Why don't they allow Canadians? They have free health insurance. So it can't be that. The company you work for doesn't have chains. Considering the snow, last time you snowed here, it was cold enough. Oh, well, and your 100-mile radius, you don't have to carry chains. Everybody that's on here over the road, right, is probably carrying chains. I do not have a furry friend that I take with me. How long would I keep the truck if I was an owner? Me? You're probably asking the wrong person. 5 or 6 years, and I'd get rid of it. That's me. Because I want a truck. I want to have a warranty. I don't want to drive some old truck around. And because I've been concerned about breakdowns, and the newer trucks, get better safety features and get better fuel mileage. There's a lot of owner-operators that are going to be mad at me and say they drive older trucks, but that's me. I want a newer truck with a warranty. Yeah, even if you're given a ride, you want in the driver's seat. Correct. Correct. That's the same here. So teaming, sleeping back there? No way. No way. Why don't drivers know how to chain? Nobody does it anymore. Nobody really teaches it. And nobody does it. Oh, somebody sent me a picture of Swift, of all places, at their Colorado terminal. Apparently has mounted on the wall a set of tire tandems and chains so you can practice higher up so you don't have to be bent over. That's pretty good. Impressive for that place. I don't know if they want you chaining up, but I guess they've got this contraption mounted on the wall. I have to find that picture, see if I can get it posted up there, where you can practice putting them on and taking them off for a while. Because, believe me, you don't want to put them, first time you put them on, you don't want to be putting them on, it's 10 degrees out, 20-mile-an-hour winds, and you're on the side of an interstate because the sign just went up. That's not when you want your first chaining experience to come along, for sure. So that's why they don't. That's why they don't put them on. Your chains are in your side box. Yeah, a lot of places hang them on those hooks too. Be sure you have them on the truck because Colorado. Yeah, it's chain time. You need them now till springtime. Best truck ride. I still go back to my Western Star that I really liked because of the attention to detail of the finish of the truck and the quietness of it. Everything was thicker, more insulation. It weighed like 20,000 pounds or something, the tractor. But it was just super quiet, and the finish was really, really good on it. Yeah, companies think if you put your chains on, you can just go through anything. Yeah, no problem. Drivers should get paid to chain up. I totally agree. Drivers should be paid for all your time. Chaining up is on duty time, and so you should be paid for it. Because chaining, I'm sure everybody logs that on duty, for sure. Where do you buy wheel cables? Where do you buy chains? Any truck stop should have them. Out west, every truck stop's got them. And if you're home, you can get them on the internet and probably free shipping. I bet. I haven't looked. I bet they're on Amazon. What? Because what isn't? Is there a certain state? Yeah, New York City, right? Anything east of 81. And just anything east of 81. Just terrible. Traffic is a nightmare. It's just a total mess. Boston is bad. Quiet trucks make for a much more relaxing ride. That's why I don't like big stacks right behind my head. I want it to be quiet in there because I'm driving all day. The stacks maybe sound great when you're running under a tunnel, okay? But otherwise, like when you rev up the Ferrari in there, but driving it, quiet. Is it fine? It's fine for us to run older trucks because the trucks, 4 of them, run only 150 miles a day, right? Okay, so you run sand, so your truck's not getting that many miles put on it. So, like I thought, right, that'd be a different story. But I'm talking on the road, putting all these miles on. You know, I get really nervous in an older truck. I do the same with my cars, okay? You know, I don't have older cars, and so I pay more, and Dave Ramsey doesn't like it. I understand that. But, you know, it just bothers me. And if I'm not here, I want the wife to be able to get the car fixed or have a decent car. So I just have to worry every day, you know, pray and bring the rosary out to turn the key to see if the thing's going to start. So that's why, that's me, right? It works out different for other people. It's Road Life. Hello, sir. Thank you for coming in. It looks like those wheel socks go on the tires. They do, but those don't meet the chaining requirements. So if the chain signs are up, road socks don't, it's not the same as chaining. They look easier, though. You can buy cars on Amazon, right? So I bet there's chains. I've never looked for chains, and if they have free shipping, that might not be a bad deal. Is breaking your contract worth it? Maybe. It depends. I will tell you. Interesting thing, I've been calling these companies. A lot of them ask you if you have a contract with somewhere else. And like, oh, well, if you don't have a contract, we can hire you. So before you do that now, which I didn't know, start calling around and to a place that you want to work and see if they'll let you do it. Because most of these places will pay you back for truck school. And I would consider that, you know, work that in to, you know, have that kind of thing. To make sure you can get it paid back. Then it might be worth it. But it just depends how close you are to the end of it and if you can actually get another job at a place you want to work. I thought that was pretty interesting. They're like blackballing people that have a contract. Fascinating, really. Do I think it's a bad idea to use a Jake in the snow? Yeah, probably. Probably not the greatest idea. Let's keep the Jake, or you know what I'll do sometimes is turn it down also. Okay, auto socks are approved. All right, so I'm out of it. Auto socks are approved. Fascinating. Are approved in all mountain states. Then if you have those, you would not have to have chains. If you had just those with you. So Haynes, you're good on it. The drone to the exhaust can lull you to sleep. Yeah, we don't want to be lulled to sleep. We just want it quiet like a car in there. Do I carry baby wipes in the truck? I don't. I have like hand sanitizer, that kind of thing. Would I buy an older truck that's still under, if it has a factory warranty, I want a factory warranty. Not a third-party warranty. I want a factory warranty just like the car. It says, I just go the same way as the car, right? They have a factory warranty because I get them certified used. So then any problems are fixed by the manufacturer at, you know, no issue. And I don't buy old ones, so I generally don't have problems anyway. But, you know, if you're not there and you have your spouse at home, you know, and especially if they don't know that much about cars or whatever, don't have an old car for them. And if you're out on the road and you break down in the middle of no place, and you got to be towed somewhere, you know, it can be an expensive repair on that semi. So that's why I personally, if I was going to do that, would rather have a warranty. Because it just bothers me. Oh, thanks, Lewis. It's good for you to come in. Thank you. Do I Jake in the rain? I do, yes. Unless it's like super pouring out, yeah. Then I leave it on. Mine's on. I'm one of those people that has on, other than truck stops, it's on all the time. It's on all the time. But it's super quiet. I have an underneath exhaust in this Cascadia, and it's not bothering anybody, right? So, but that's how mine's on all the time. Every truck stop and their mother has the cables. Yeah. I think they're on sale everywhere that sells chains. Is it a bad idea to use your Jake in the snow and ice? Yeah, because you're only stopping some of the tires. So, and when it gets bad, I turn them off. We'll run them in the rain, especially if it's warm. Now, if it's 33 or something and we're close to ice, no. But if it's 80 out, yeah, like today, they'll be on today, no problem. Because at the time, you know, you still get traction in the rain, so I'm in for that. Have I driven into Canada? Not in a long time. In the early 90s, I ran for 3M and drove into Canada. Now, I didn't need a passport or anything then, so I didn't have any problems. But the only problem was coming back in the United States, which I love. So that's great. Coming back here every day, they would all day inspect me. Going there, no problem. So that's how it worked. Can you Jake in a no Jake breaker if your Jake is quiet? Well, no, you're not supposed to, but I guess you could. Right? But you're not supposed to. Can you Jake in a... No. Right, no. Okay, I don't know. I was thinking about that. Right. So, is it better to slamming on service brake? Jakes are low, way better than... Well, you shouldn't be slamming on our brakes, right? We should be having a safe space and all that. That just goes without saying. And I don't want just the jakes to slow just the drives down and spin the truck around, right? So, and with the brakes, we're not going to skid anymore because we're going to have a newer truck and a new enough trailer where we have ABS, right? And so, and pay attention, of course. We can't be reading a book or whatever when we're driving. Drivers do need them for safety. I totally agree with you. They put them in all these cities because they don't, because guys got these 5-inch stacks and they're super loud and use them at 3 in the morning when they don't need them. Should be quieter. And then it's just like parking by the Tesla thing where I had that video, right? You know, people would just think a little bit. They only put the signs up because the neighbors called their city councilman and said, stop these trucks from waking us up. That's what the problem was. Are the X15 Jakes as good as what people say? What's an X15? 15 liter? Right, we have 15 liter Detroits, so that's all I would know about. Do I think using my engine brake is a bad idea in snowy and ice conditions? Yes. If you only have 22.5-inch chains, you might want to carry one pair of the large ones. Oh, if your company has that trailer with those wheels. Yeah, if you're running trailers with that gigantic old-timey wheels, right, the 24.5s, you'll need separate size chains for those and carry more than one. You should have enough plus extras for when they break. Cummins, I haven't driven the X15 Cummins. Hopefully, right, the Jakes on this Detroit, though, work good. It should work great. I haven't driven one. Maybe somebody's got one out here. The Atlanta, Georgia, on Boulder Crest Drive is the worst truck stop in America. That is known now. Any thoughts on autopilot trucks and electric trucks? Electric trucks will only be local, like beer companies or some local distribution companies because of, what, a couple 300 miles I've seen on there? No way. It'll take forever to charge those gigantic batteries, and so that's not going to happen. And autopilot trucks, the self-driving trucks, you got decades. Literally decades before those are in any kind of size to take anybody's job. There's way too many things on the road for them to even think about putting those on the road yet. Don't even worry about that. They can talk all they want about them. They aren't here. And they're not even close. What GPS do I use? I use Google Maps GPS with Google Traffic. So I always have that running, Google Traffic, and I know it isn't truck specific, and I'm not saying to use it for your final word. But that, you put your route in there and you get traffic for the whole route. You can look ahead, see if there's problems. And I also will look at the company in advance, overhead view to see which entrance is which. And I also call them if it's a place I haven't been. I recommend you call every place you haven't been to and just get their opinion. I'm coming with a truck. It's huge, way bigger than your car because there's going to be somebody who drives a car. How do trucks come in there? And take all that information and any directions your company gave you too. Compile all that together and get in. And look, running that Google Maps with GPS, it may not be a truck routing, but you look and say, all right, I need to get off on this street. And then I got a turn up here 3 miles away. That thing is going to tell you exactly where that street is. Maybe you can't read the street signs in the middle of the night, but you know you're on the right road. You just don't know which one of these roads to turn. That's going to save your life at 2 in the morning when you know which road to turn on. So don't trust it. It has nothing to do with bridges or anything, okay? It's not truck specific, but that's what I use. Is just plain Google Maps, which is free, with traffic. And I have that on all day, even if it's somewhere where I know I've been, because I still get traffic on it. So I do that all day on that. Pennsylvania is the worst truck stops. All right. Flying cars or self-driving trucks, which ones? Well, we have flying cars. There's a couple of those. There's videos about them. So there's a few of those around, not widespread yet. And that's what we need, are people in flying around not paying attention. DOT still requires, yes. Oh yeah, all these self-driving trucks, there's people in the truck still. We're nowhere near that truck driving itself around. There is a Ram McNally truck specific. There are a lot of truck specific GPSs. I'm still a little nervous and would call ahead and verify. And I think for your first year or two, you should actually map it on a paper map, buy an atlas at the truck stop, and use that as well, because that'll give you a good picture of how all the roads relate to each other. That's what I think. Then you can look at a map of the entire state or whatever, the country, and so you know in your head how all the roads work. It matters. It matters. Yeah, when the self-driving trucks, you'll still need shunt guys and everything. Oh, totally, totally. Although the first thing I've seen is a self-driving a spotter truck. So because they said that's going to work actually better because the yard will not change. You'll be able to drop your trailer, and I saw a test of this at a line, and you leave, and that spotter truck with self-driving, but they have a guy on it to hook the hoses up. That dock is the same. It'll park the trailer the same way, every time. So they actually said automating the spotting trucks maybe first, before the road trucks. Yeah, PC MapQuest. Yeah, PC tough to use on the road. I like just running on the phone, Google Maps. What truck do I recommend? The lightest one, right? Look, fuel efficient, light. You know, a lot of the truck thing is specific. I don't like international. Some people like them. I'm not a fan of them. 8094 in Illinois, yeah. It's a disaster up there nearly every day, and people fly up there. My family still lives up there. I still have a lot of family, so we still go up there a lot. And so 8094 in a car ride, I'm rolling along there. It's like a 55. We're going to 80, 85, and I'm getting passed on both sides. People are passing me like, what are you doing? It's crazy rolling up there. And that's in a car. U.S. Army vets know how to use the map. Yeah, everybody should know how to use a map. That should be part of your training. The guy's blasting all the way through. You know him, Peterbilt? Huh. What do I think about the T800? See, again, right? Now, I like Kenworths. Hello, Kevin. So, you know, I'm a fan. Big sleeper, I'm in. I just don't like internationals because I never like the way the cab is set up in them. Yeah. What do I think about restoring old trucks? Hey, man, if that's your thing, do it. Roll freight along in that truck. If it's all, you've restored it so it's all brand new. So, yeah, do it. If you got the time, they've got the beer. Yeah, it makes sense to start them in a yard. The yard doesn't change. That's why they said beyond a certain point, there won't be any drivers, only self-driving trucks. And the yard's always the same. And that's why the shunt trucks are going self-driving first. That's what they were thinking. 377, yike. Will you get good fuel mileage? Maybe. Set them up right. You know, the more aerodynamic, the better. 21 cents. Yeah, some people are coming. You know, I've seen that. I don't know how true that is. That some of these large companies are straight delivering their load straight out of, you know, Mexico at 20 cents split or whatever. I think it's crazy that, you know, that they would consider doing that. And that's going to take your job faster than a self-driving truck. I will tell you that. This cross-border where you don't have to pick it up somewhere. Oh, you're years away from completely self-driving trucks? You're more than years away. You are decades away from a truck that can reasonably drive across the country without anybody interacting with it at all. The cab sticks on the international, yeah. Or you got to do the open door thing like you're driving a 50-year-old truck or something, right. The old Macs were great trucks. I had in Chicago when I was doing those containers, we had our model Macs to run those containers. Super tough trucks. You were taught with a plastic-coated map book and dry erase marker. Yes, we didn't have GPS or anything for me either when I started. Now, every year I'd buy a paper map because I liked writing on it. And I would transfer the cities that I'd been to. I'd always circle the little cities. I thought that was neat. And then I got sick of doing that. And so I would buy a paper map. And I think that's probably been early 2000s since I bought a paper map. But I would like to see new drivers run a paper map for a year, at least, to look at the country and understand the road system and everything, because it'll make trip planning better when you know all the roads up front. I think it'll help you out a lot. But there wasn't GPS yet. They were considering it, but I didn't have a GPS until probably in the early 2000s. You'd write on the windshield. I never wrote on the windshield. I would write on a piece of paper and have it sitting there. You know, I'd have one of those clips super glued to the dashboard and clip it in there on which way to go. And that's how I know about these road signs, right? It would really bother me at night. These little tiny signs, you couldn't see them. That's why I like to have a GPS running, so you know, oh, that's not this road, it's that road. You know, I know 500 feet. It makes it way easier. So run it every time. Motor Carriers Atlas. Yeah, I had a paper Motor Carriers Atlas. That's what I'm talking about, right. Right, nice. Okay, starting pays 45 cents at ADS and 15 to stop. After 2 hours 25, that's not terrible. On the road per diem, 10 holidays at 124. And you pay 124 for every 2 weeks. That's pretty good. That's way better than I've seen. Way better. With detention and holidays, right, that's more like it. I'll exceed after an hour, but I haven't really found anybody doing that yet. 2 hours and 25, as long as they pay it every time, I'm in on it. Yeah, almost 10,000, right. We're working on getting out information. Hopefully people subscribe. Doing the info first, though, right? Yes, good. Well, Bill, I think you should. You know, I don't have a motor carrier's atlas. Okay, let's be honest. I GPS it. I don't carry a motor carrier's atlas with me, but I think at least people should be taught on the motor carrier's atlas, for sure. The H-1B visas, and we have people working H-1B in the office. They're going to replace us citizens. That is going to be the problem, is that a lot of people that don't make as much money is a problem. You're competing against someone that doesn't have to make as much money as you. I don't agree with that. Certainly, the trailers should have to be transferred at the border because you can't compete with somebody that is only getting a dime a mile. There's just no way to compete with it. You make $30 an hour. Every 2 loads of sand, you get 45, and you do 5 to 6 loads a day. Now, that's pretty good, too. Even better, right? It just gets better. Compare that to paying for your own fuel at some companies that are based in the Northwest. ADS pays hub miles. There's a pay raise right there. That's got to be one of the first places that does that, where they actually say, we're paying hub miles. You map your route on GPS after serving the... Well, see, I try to do all that route trip planning right away so that I can get an idea. But if it's going to be a few days, yeah. And I say call the place, too. If it's somewhere you haven't been, call them. Now it's easy to look the number up. It used to be a lot harder, and you had to go in the truck stop and wait, or go in the J to get your own little booth and get out your little phone card and call them. You don't have to do that now. Call them, say, where are you? Is that the truck entrance? Oh, I got to go the 4th driveway? Oh, I didn't know that. Right. That's super helpful. Big rig plates, okay. The only thing you use GPS on surface streets. It's still helpful, right, on surface street. It is helpful. Well, I've heard that from Rename Paul. I don't know if that's true or not. You wouldn't want that flying back at you. You got to do the whole offset. You got to do some science. Offset that hole. Well, Stevens has a tanker division. That is interesting. That Stevens works the oil fields, right? I don't know anything about their oil field division. In fact, until a astute driver sent me information, I didn't really know much about their other division because they won't tell me. So anybody that knows about it, I think it's interesting. But yeah, I saw a picture of a Mack day cab hauling a Stevens tanker on the oil fields. I thought, is this the same Stevens that puts people through school? It is. Can't pick up a load in the U.S. Yeah, the trucker can pick a load up here and deliver that load. I don't think so. I think, now I'm not sure, right? If you come in from another country, I'm sure there's Canadian out here to tell me. If you pick a load up here, does it have to go back or not? Yeah, Mexico, they do run older trucks. They don't rust down there. There's a lady on YouTube that does it. Oh, nice. So Stevens Tanker, that's great. I think that if you come in you can bring the load in for another country, but the load that you pick up here has to return back to your country. I think. International is given up. They use the man engine. Wow. Wow. Why don't they just import the whole truck? Oh, probably because they can't meet some kind of standard here for it? Or people wouldn't tolerate those manned cab overs here? Look, the international engine, right, Max Force, has got to be the biggest disaster, other than a triple stick, going out there. Hate them. We had one. Hated every day of it. Anytime I had to drive it, horrible. If I just had to move it around the yard, I didn't like it. I think it's terrible. According to the trade agreement, they can run U.S. loads. Now, I thought when you came in, you could bring a load down. This is Canada, right? And any load you picked up had to go back. I wasn't aware you could pick up loads that are in the same country. Okay, right. Head to North Dakota. Oh, this is a good time to go up there. I haven't run a PACCAR engine yet, but I see the W990 that's on tour. If you get to see that, go look that tour up. I don't remember the website, but they're touring around the country. Just type in their Kenworth W990 tour, and they're showing it off at truck stops or at Kenworth dealers around the country. Maybe you can go check it out and take some pictures with it, and let the rest of us know how it is, because they're not coming near me, because I was going to go see them, but they're not coming around here. Yeah, right, okay, right. Head north. Look, everybody's leaving out of North Dakota Maybe it's your time to go. This could be your time to go up there and make your way. But, better figure out how to put chains on for anybody that's going that is not aware of how to do all that stuff, right? Oh no, long nose trucks aren't dead yet. People are still using them. They're not going anywhere. There'll always be a market for that. And some loads pay enough or whatever, or oversized with owner operators, or they just don't, it doesn't matter. They're like, I don't care, it gets less fuel mileage. I'm taking these loads that pay $3.50 a mile, I don't care. There'll always be a day for those. Only the smart ones are leaving. Well, it depends how much money you want to make. It's cabotage. You can only take a load to U.S. then back to Canada. Right, that's what I thought, right? I think legally, if you come in from Canada, you can bring a load in, no problem. And then any load you pick up has to be a load that has a destination in Canada. It has to go back. So taking a load that is not like that, I think, is some kind of violation. Although, let's be admitted here, it probably happens. It probably happens. I haven't seen a COE Freightliner in forever. Is it for the United States? Maybe not. Because I don't think it's going to come out here. As far as I know, they're doing Argosy gliders, though. Here, you can still get an Argosy glider truck, which is I saw that, I go, wow, you can still do that? Yeah, you can repower an Argosy. Yeah, West Texas is kicking. I totally agree. Because that's the only place, really, where there's just any kind of shortage. There's nowhere to live. They still make trucks with light switches? Yeah, sure. And Jake switches? Yes. Well, my Freightliner, the headlights are not on the steering wheel, but the Jakes are. But there are trucks with switches. Allison or Eaton auto preference. Okay, so I have the Eaton automatic 12-speed. I'm not a fan of it. So I haven't driven an Allison automatic, but the 12-speed Eaton that we have in the trucks is horrible. The way they have it set up, it's really slow to respond when it needs to make a change. If you come up to a light and you're slowing down and then the light changes and then you go to get back on it, it seems sometimes it decides if it wants to shift and it'll go to neutral for a few seconds and then flip back over, and then it just depends. So I'm not a huge fan of it. And sometimes at a light it goes to first, even if I'm empty, and so I'll have to hit the thing up to go up in gear. Not a huge fan of it. They could do better. The programming could be better. You only see Canadian truckers driving within New York State. There are probably a lot of them. Would I stick it out with CRST? It depends. How long do you have left? And can you get another job? Because I've been finding these places that won't hire you, like Blacklisted. They ask, oh, are you on a contract with somebody? Oh, okay, well then we can hire you. So you're going to have to be careful now before you leave if you're under a contract. So if you got 2 months left in it, it might be worth it. How can I drive an auto? Because that's what they give me to drive. Does it take getting used to? No. It's just like driving your car to work. D and off you go. These are just slow to respond. You drive with a Volvo. Look, I like Volvo automatics. It's way better shifter. Can I repeat the name of the oil? That's not me, right? Do you get the infamous left leg weakness? Yes. Your leg goes from being gigantic, Popeye sized to noodle sized. And those are drivers that walk around in circles at the truck stops because they just have no left leg strength. You have no strength anymore. You don't like the 12-speed either. Oh, yours starts in 5th gear? Nice. And so yours is different. Mine will start in 1st gear when I'm empty, and so I have to change that. Yours starts in 5th gear when you're loaded. Now, I have it roll. Mine doesn't roll back. It's good on that. Do I know anybody that works for a fuel hauling company? No. Well, we do have a driver that left, and what does he work for? Pilot? Right, we'll have to get in touch with him. They do want some experience. I'll say not much. No company wants more than a couple of years anymore. Hardly that I'm finding. So they're going to want a little experience and a tanker endorsement. They'll probably train you on it. Can you custom program? Yeah, the company can. The company could go in there and reprogram it or whatever, but it's set for fuel mileage. And really, when you tell them that, they really don't care. They're like, well, it's an automatic, so let it do whatever it wants to do. So they don't care. If you owned it, you can, I'm sure, change the settings in it. But as a company driver, what do they care? They're like, just drive it. It's automatic. Why are you griping at us? Leave us alone. So they don't care that much about it. But each time you stop, you lift the lever, because every time you lift the lever, it shifts the next gear. So it says 1, 2, 3, and then you wait. That I shift, way better, right? The I shifts better. Look at the lights, it's better. If you go get off of it and back on it, it picks up what you're doing. I like it a lot better. We don't have a current Volvo there, but I like it. Can I repeat the name of the oil field? It was not me that did the trucking company oil field, so I don't know what it was. It was somebody talking about a oil field in California. Do I know good paint companies that hire felons? Well, see, now, I've been only started to look into this because people asked. I know from some people writing to me that PTL will take felons depending on, you know, how much, what they've done or whatever. So it's going to be a slog, and I haven't looked into it as much. I haven't asked about it until recently, but I would call PTL at least to get started and see what they say. Getting around 7 with the Volvo. Oh, yeah. You should get 7. Every truck should get 7. If you aren't getting 7, I don't know what's happening. There you go. There's our California company. How do I control what settings are Jake at if you have the Jakes and steering wheel? There's a plus or minus button to go up or down on the Jakes. And some of them have a switch on the dash that's got low, medium, high, and that controls it, and then the steering wheel button turns them on and off. So it depends on the truck. So you still have your settings. You still have the settings, high, low. And on these Cascadias, the Jakes are on the lever, the automatic lever here, which is D&R, and you pull that down 1, 2, 3, and back to off. So there's always ways to set them. At least every one I've drove that do it. Do trucks still come with CB? I never had one come with a CB from the factory. So I don't think they come from the factory. They expect you to put your own in for sure. Which you should do, right? I'm all for Cobras. All for Cobra. They seem to last a long time. Much better made than, you know, don't cheap out on it. Don't go get $30 unless you're just starting and getting your first CB. But then when you save a little money, get a more expensive CB. It'll do you good for years. You'll do a lot better with it. You know, spend $100. It's worth it. And that's tax deductible too, so you're going to get to take that off. You need to get a CB, yeah, they're everywhere. Or save your points. You could buy a cheap one and then save points up and get a CB free or discounted that way. And they usually have them on sale around Christmas. Using your points and doing it that way. So get it that way. I don't know what kind of seat is in the truck. Whatever came in the truck. To honestly be with you. Whatever's in a 2018 Cascadia, I don't know what they have. You have a peaked and tuned Bearcat? Oh, no, well, now we're getting some money. I'm just saying, I'm not saying be a baller out there. I'm saying just spend a little bit of money. Holy mackerel. Huh. Do automatic trucks still have a clutch? No. They do not. You start them like a car. Turn the key, press your foot on the brake, turn the key, truck starts in neutral. Do I recommend air products? What exactly is an air product? Your company wants you to start unloading trucks, not driver. Not driver thoughts. They want you to hand unload the trucks? Do they still make the older looking Cascadia? The Evolution? No, it went to this new one, right? I think maybe this year they're making them both, but then it'll be this new Cascadia, not the Evolution. You're going to want the Evolution, right, just for the headlights. You got a peak to tune Cobra 29. That's what I use, a 29, right? My recommendation always. Stock seat. Can I get them low enough? I'm in a Freightliner. We don't low ride the stock seats in a Freightliner. That's for Peterbilts only. The seat as low as possible and the stick as high as possible in the Pete. Freightliner, you know, you're like, look, I know I'm in a Freightliner. I just try to have people not laugh that much while I'm driving it around. So I don't lower it that much on it. Do I know of any company that will hire a 20-year driver and student as a new team? Yeah, probably, unfortunately, but probably any of these places that will that take students would probably hire. You might be able to be their trainer and make the trainer pay and they make student pay. Maybe. Yeah. What do I prefer? Look, I like the automatics, right? I'll take a stick, no problem. Automatics are easier, right? Cars are automatic. So I don't mind them. I think they're fine. They're way better than they used to be. When they first came out, they were a pain. Right? They've gotten them better. Even though it doesn't shift good, overall, I'll take the automatic. Yeah, well, it's a Peterbilt thing. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, right? But first you have to get this shift extension. So it has to be as high, it has to scrape on the ceiling, if possible. And if you can raise the roof on it, right? Raise the roof, and then you can have it all the way up by the sunroof up there. And the switch up there too, and then lower the seat all the way down, right? And then you're trucking. That's trucking. They're through a Walmart. Oh, that's not good. You got a good deal, $85 for CB. Yeah, mine was like 117 or something years ago. You bought a FLD 120. Yeah, I had an FLD 120 with an N14 Plus red top Cummins in it. Remember that? Seat on the floor. Yeah, they were honking. They're like, hey, that's not a Peterbilt. What are you doing? All the way down makes a stronger driver? No, I think it makes you a driver. I can't see anything. I've always found it ridiculous. Get out. You want to see stuff. Again, I'm not trying to make a statement to people. I'm trying to drive the truck. Why would you want an extended gear shifter? Because it's cool, man. It's cool. That's why you want it way up there, way up top. If you looking at Pete, it better have scrapes up there where you're shifting that truck for sure. Would I ever want to get one? No. Best riding truck? The newest truck possible. I found every new truck I get in rides better than old ones. So, because everything's new. So that's why I want a new truck all the time. Whenever new ones come in, I'm always in there like, hey, what's with the new truck? Why am I not in it? 48 cents a mile. Just order 150 new 389s. Yeah, as long as you don't get a fuel bonus, I guess it's okay. Whatever. Pull an end dump. If it paid enough, I probably would. You know, if they did them here. I mean, I've been here a long time. I don't see myself leaving anytime soon. But yeah, and look, I'm not opposed to doing anything, right? If it pays, I've been here. I got an easy job, so I'm in it. Do I prefer a manual or automatic? I'll take an automatic, right? Manual, that's all cool to be shifting and everything, but look, the automatic's easier. Every time you get in traffic, you think, man, I should have taken an automatic. That is 5. You always heard, always the hand that is 5'3" tall, no air in the seat. Yep, yeah, something small. Driver says not to unload, they get paid extra. Advice. Look, drivers shouldn't unload their trucks, I don't think. They get paid extra. So the company is getting paid extra? I guess I don't get the question. I'm trying to understand the question. Driver says not to unload, they get paid extra. You're training your fiance? How's that going? And are you still going to get married? Yeah, you think Smith has long nose trucks. They do. That's why I'm saying no fuel bonus and I'm in. And dump takes 28%, 12 to 1600. That's not bad. 12 to 1600 is good. Okay, so you're still going to get married. Okay, that's good for now. What would I change? I would say drivers should get paid by the hour off the ELD, period. Overtime past 40. Transportation should not be exempt from minimum wage and overtime rules. That should change right away. That's been way too long coming. Drivers need to be paid by the hour with overtime. You'd see the industry change then. How many would log off duty if you didn't get paid? And you knew if you logged on duty, you'd get paid. Everybody would be on duty, getting paid, and the industry would be way better. Dolby has a truck that has a clutch. Okay, right. That's an older unit. Okay. They used to be a clutch for first and to start, and you needed the clutch to start the truck. That must be a really old truck. It hasn't been that way for a while. There are 3-pedal automatics, as they say, and the clutch is to get started. But all the trucks now, you press the brake, just like a car, put it in neutral, and make sure it's in neutral and start it. She loves it. Well, more power to her. If you two will team together, I mean, the future's looking pretty bright over there. 300 to 500 extra for nice, for U.S. nice. Atlanta's a mess. That doesn't need to be said. That we all know that. Would you rather be paid hourly or a set salary? I think I'd rather be paid hourly than I know I'm getting paid for all my time. I guess it depends what the salary is and what they expect for it. What do you expect for that salary? It'd have to be considerable. And a salary should pay every week, even when you're off. Oh, good. Yeah, good. Don't be joking about kittens. That isn't nice. To say that about poor kittens. I was about to go over to Walmart and see if this was the one that you were in. So we can't do that. You know, once they do the salary too, they're getting around this overtime. We don't want to. I don't want to do that. Yeah, that's not good. So I don't want to get into you know, a salary if they're not gonna pay. They need to pay. Companies always try to get out of paying. They should just pay you. There are mainly specialty haulers that remove broken down buses. Oh, and fire trucks? Where are there broken down fire trucks? Anything commercial seems like a busy day and night. Not many do this. Yeah. Any kind of specialty thing is going to be, it should pay good, and you'll have a better job. That's probably not mind-numbing like driving across the country where you can get, you know, put to sleep driving across there. It's different kind of work every day. Cats, I had the old mechanical cat in a Volvo, a 425 Volvo with a mechanical cat in it. Jeez, that was a long time ago, mechanical. What are the special lanes in Atlanta that switch price? Yeah, some of the lanes, right, depending on the time of day, switch. Chicago does that too. And a lot of places are doing that. Time tolls. So depending when you go through, it's less. Like drivers can just decide to go to a different time, you know, depending on when their delivery time is. That's ridiculous. Can't beat a mechanical cat. I don't have any problems with it. And it sounded great, like you said, but, you know, it was loud. You know, but it sounded good, but then the pipes were behind, they came up behind the sleeper, and so then when you're sleeping, it was really, really loud. And I don't know if it even had mufflers on it. I mean, when you hit the jakes on it, that, you know, it was pretty loud. They don't make engines like the old day, that's correct. For a reason, though. That truck didn't get, you know, 8 miles to the gallon either. Yeah, the shutdown over the weekend, you know, was interesting, but I don't think it will do any good because it's all different kind of it's all kinds of different trucking companies that shut down. So all these different trucks. So what is the government supposed to do, number one? And like you all said, they blocked fire trucks and ambulances, which is not a good thought. I had thought about that. That is a very excellent point. So we blocked all the emergency people. The people that are blocked behind them in cars are just mad at them. So what is accomplished by this? Because there's not even really a leader to talk to. So what are we doing? The solution to trucking is it has to be company by company, I think. So you it has to be, you start out with a large company, like one of these large carriers that has 1,000 trucks, and they say at noon Monday, all your trucks are going to park somewhere legally, so we're not blocking the roads, and nobody's going to drive until you talk to Joe in truck 9 or whatever it is. And then when they look on their board and all the trucks stop, that's how they will have to go talk to you and negotiate. And once you did that to one or two places, I think the other companies then would just start negotiating in advance, saying, okay, Swift, or okay, whoever, you're next. So you have another till next Monday to talk to us, or we're going to shut you down too. And they can say all they want. We're going to fire you all. It doesn't matter. They're going to fire 1,000 people. What are they going to do then? Nothing. That is the solution. To stopping all the traffic, I think you all had probably the best point of blocking ambulances. That's not a good idea. What if somebody died because of that? Did you solve your problem then? So I think that's a very good idea. Taking mufflers, I don't, you know, it can throw an engine light now with all the emissions on it. So if you take off that kind of thing, you get an engine light. Now what? Trade on the company gave me an automatic. Yeah, look, Robert, the automatic, it's just so much better, right? People drive an automatic to work. It's great to drive a manual and it's great shifting, but automatic's the way, and it's the future, so I think everybody's going to have to just get used to it. I think a Werner is pulling your leg more than keeping America moving. What's the best way to find drivers for your truck? It's a problem. You know, because what I recommend to people is they don't work for somebody that doesn't give them benefits, so, you know, you're going to have to compete in the industry with vacation and benefits, and depending on how many trucks you have, you may not be able to do that, so you're going to have a limited range of drivers that are going to come and want to work for you if you have trucks. Now, maybe you have 1,000 trucks, but I don't know if you do. That is a real problem. What advice can I give Heather? Who the heck is Heather? The truckers claim the people in the cars gave them thumbs up and high fives. Maybe. You know, people might give you high fives, but you still blocked an ambulance, possibly. So the people do like it. I totally agree, but what came of it? Oh, your fiance, right. You have 5 years experience? My advice, listen to what you say. And I'm serious about that. And especially with winter coming. All right, you drive a manual vehicle, but when you look at a yard, most of them are not manuals. Do I have a Twix card? No. I don't need it. And so I just never thought to go get it because it would expire before I need it for what I do. So I think you only get it if you need a Twix card. Yeah, your fiance should do route planning. She should be trained like any other person. You know, just like she's a regular person, which is hilarious. But she should seriously should be trained like any other student. Go through the whole thing and get her trained up, and so she's ready to go. Yeah, Milos, look, I think it's a problem. I think you got to compete with places that have a lot of trucks, and when you're offering, you know, something that they can get elsewhere and you don't have it, I think it's a real problem. Maybe you could up the pay. Some people like that. Pay more money, and I know people usually do 1099 on that, which I think is being misclassified. So I think I think it's harder to get people. It's hard enough for places that have a lot of benefits. For somebody with no benefits, it must be really difficult. You have one of 3 manuals of 100 trucks. Yeah, look, there are people that love them. I like driving them, you know, no problem. But I'll take an automatic. It's just easier. You know, when they first came out, I didn't like them. They didn't back up good. You know, but now they are smooth. They have a creep mode in them, so it backs up to the dock like a manual. You don't have the problems that you had in them like you used to have. They're just better than they were. So I'm all in for them. Both feet are in. And so you get a noodle left leg. You just work it out a little bit. Yeah, that's good, right? I think that look, if you can get her trained and you can team together, you guys can make a ton of money. If you find the right place, oh my gosh, it's certainly the way to go. Pack up a house, live in that truck. Your company has all manuals in all 5 of their trucks. Well, you might be interested in Milos's job, you know, for that. But he is going to have a problem getting people without a lot of benefits. Getting under a trailer with an automatic was rough. Yeah, it was the same problem in the dock, and it kind of backing up. They didn't back up good. They didn't creep. The new ones, at least ours, right, creep. So it creeps just like a manual. It slips itself, and you can creep along and get under vehicles and back into docks. You used to have to slam into the dock, and people come out and laugh at you or whatever. There's no more of that anymore. Yeah, long-nosed Pete's and no electronic log. That's a good point. Some companies like that. Or companies not buying manuals because it's cheaper to buy the automatic than replace clutches for drivers that they don't train properly in how to drive a manual. For sure. If they don't train people, then they burn a clutch up, and that's expensive. And so they're like, oh, this is a lot easier. They just buy an automatic, and then you can't over-rev it. The truck shifts for fuel mileage. I do agree that want to be a trucker, train a manual, drive an automatic. Yeah, it should be that way in a car too, I think. I think you should train in a manual. But they're just going away. There's just not enough of them left. So I don't know how we do that. Every driver should have to drive a manual. Yes. Car as well. Auto license as well. Everybody should be trained on them and have to take a test in one. Then you can get an automatic if you want to. I totally agree. Because if you pay more attention, you're trying to figure out what you're doing. Same in the semi. Let's train people on 13 speeds. Let's get them out there driving. You have mostly 10 speeds at United Road, but the new ones are automatics. Look, it's the same. We have a mix, but all the new trucks, every one of them, every brand, are coming in automatics. And so eventually, as these old ones go away, you're only going to get the new trucks, which are then going to be old, and you will have to get an automatic. You ain't running the gunite because all the pools are residential. Plus, you got to figure out how to get a semi in someone's backyard. That's a problem. If you're supposed to have a long trailer, they ought to put that on a pup or something, a flat pup. 500 horse automatic cascaded doesn't have power in automatic economy. Yeah, you know, depending on your company, you can hold the button in for power, right? Ours is disabled, of course, right? Or manual, disabled because they want fuel mods. But on some, you can hold that in and it'll go to power mode. The problem with the new school drivers, they don't have the same skills. Oh, I don't know about that. Everybody has the skills that they're taught, right? If people don't have skills, they haven't been taught skills. I always think if there's a problem with a driver somewhere, it's a management problem. They haven't trained them properly. They haven't taught them properly. They're giving them the tools that they need to do their job. So if a company doesn't give you the tools that you need, whether it's training or whatever other tools you need, and then you don't do your job properly, that's the management's fault for not doing that for you. Let's see. I think people should drive a motorcycle. Oh, right. I've driven a motorcycle, right? And a car before any license. Understand the scope of respecting others. That's a good idea, too. That'd be harder to do, I guess, if people get their motorcycle license, but that's not a bad idea. My friend had it, as an aside, right, an automatic Honda years ago, right? It was a Honda-matic, I think they called it, right? Motorcycle. all drivers should get truck training so they understand how big rigs move. Maybe. Years ago, people didn't, and it came out okay, but there should be some kind of standard, at least, to get your license. I like the graduated license part better. So that you get a license, you are novice, and then after a couple years, it moves up, and then after 5 years, it goes up to professional. And then it can stay, and then expert, if it's 5 years with no tickets or accidents. Then if you get a ticket or an accident, it goes back down to professional until you get 5 years without a ticket or an accident. Then people can know what they're looking at when they look at your license. You have 25-foot trailers. Nice. Okay, well, so it's still hard. I'm sure it's still hard to get in, and nobody's got their car moved or anything. Highway 8 is long and boring. You're quite welcome, Michael. I like being out here. Wyoming lets you have a motorcycle at 15. There's nothing to hit. Totally nothing to hit. Oh, you're getting Mac Anthems. Nice. Wow, you should take a picture of that. No, most of your new ones are coming with the long trailers. Yeah, okay, right. I know guys that have gotten their CDL because of Smokey and the Bandit. Wow. He wasn't even the star, really, of it, right? Snowman? You talking for four-wheelers? Yeah, I totally agree. You should have to have a manual on a four-wheeler first to get your car license. Aren't 53-footers usually to back up? It depends where you're backing into. He's never going to get a 53-footer in a residential area, I'll tell you that. Okay, Robert, thanks for popping in. Okay, William, 80 feet empty with 4 feet out the front and back. Yeah, good luck with that. I'm glad that I'm able to keep you entertained on the long stretches. The days can get really long out there. You can tell your fiance that too, as our fiance trainer was in earlier. You know, the other thing, if you're tired, right, one of the other things, tired, pull over. I cannot tell you, because I'm out at night, how many people are weaving all over the road, and that's crazier. It's easier to text and drive using an iPhone. Yeah, well, we're not doing any of that, of course, because that's not allowed. You graduated a CDL apprentice program. Everyone who complains about the new school driver should train at least one. Oh, look, everybody, right. Drivers should be trained, and it's not skills, right? You just haven't. New drivers, we all started out driving somewhere. We didn't all start out with experience. Everybody's got to learn somewhere. So because you don't know something, that's not you. Don't worry. You'll get it. You'll get it. You feel like people need to get their life, need to learn. Well, they should teach about learning about driving around trucks, certainly. In the residential driving, you can lose all the marker lights. They need to put the marker lights down low on those trailers. Voice to text. All right, we'll let that go on voice to text. I have a regular phone here, an Android. I don't have one of those. What'd you call it? An orange phone? I don't remember what fruit you said it was. 15, a motorcycle driver permit. 16 can drive alone, but with family. Wow. That's how it is in Wyoming. Well, they have all this room. What are you going to hit? Voice to text. Yeah, you can sometimes speak your phone and have it do stuff. A lot of new school drivers get into wrecks. Well, you know, they get into wrecks because they're not being trained properly, and they're being pushed to do things that they shouldn't do, or they're too tired to do, or something. And so, you know, then they have an accident. And should they stop driving? Yeah, but they're being forced to do all this stuff. So, you know, learn sitting on your dad's lap. Yeah, that's how a lot of older drivers did. I went to truck school, but not everybody has done that. And so, and I didn't have any training beyond that. Now it's training, training, training. A lot of new school drivers don't have pride. I don't know. A lot of people love driving, right? I love driving. I'm all new school. You're riding shotgun. Inattentive drivers make you nervous. Yes. And at night, they're not inattentive. They're falling asleep. I see it almost every night. Most Androids have a mic icon or ring the keyboard. Yeah, that's true, right? You can just hit, you can call it, right? I won't say it so it doesn't activate it, but you can call it and have it do whatever you need it to do. Trucking isn't a job, it's a way of life. It's a paycheck, that's for sure, that will supply your family, you know, with what it needs for the rest of your life. Many people, Wild Bill says his dad taught him. That was very common. Very common. Years ago, your dad taught you, and that's how you learned how to drive, and you just went driving. There weren't all these truck schools and all that. You know, before, many people have been driving longer than me. No, I'm not here saying I've been the longest driver ever, because I'm certainly not. I never went to driving school, right? You had to learn on the road, exactly. You learned on the job. Yeah, Stephen has pride. We all, look, I love driving. I think it's great. It's a great job. It's unfortunate that so few people in the industry give it a bad name for the general public. You know, one driver walks in and stinks up a truck stop and they think we're all bad, and that's disappointing. And that driver should be ashamed of himself. And it happens too often. Your dad taught you in a 1970 International, yikes, TransStar, no power steering. Right, my first truck, no power steering, no AC, correct. There's a little door you popped open with your foot, no radio. I had an AM radio, so I was styling with WLS. Right, that was trucking. If you could back that thing up right, then you really got it too. You did get Popeye arms driving that thing around, backing that up. Your dad let you drive his 85 Freightliner when he parked it behind the house. Yeah, see how everybody started with their parents? Are you the only one that is in a truck to get away from your wife? Yes. It's supposed to be the other way around. You need to go back to the old trucks? Ugh. I'll take a new truck that's quiet and gets good fuel mileage. Being a truck driver today is not what it used to be. It never is what it used to be. I mean, do we want to go back to no air conditioning and manual steering? I don't think so. We don't want to go back to that. So, and people want to go back, but then when I tell them that, they don't, do you have air conditioning in your house? Yes. Well, take it out. I don't know about that. Why did they quit making that? It's their popular truck, but it wasn't the most popular selling truck. Maybe to owner-operators and to Smith Transport. But, when fuel goes up in price, you can't be running this long nose out there and expect to make any money. Getting 5-6 miles to the gallon when other trucks get 8-9 miles to the gallon. It matters. That's your biggest cost, fuel. So you need to use as little of it as possible. In the truck, have you ever been in one? They're super tiny. I mean, compared to, opened up a other truck, they're super tiny. The trucks had character. That I'll give you, right. Yeah, traffic is worse than it was, right. Everyone should haul one load of swinging beef. I've never done that, right. I've heard about it. Never done it. Everybody should maybe run a tanker, a milk tanker, or like I worked for American Citrus, right? No baffles in that thing. How about a half a load of orange juice? TMC is keeping them afloat. Yeah, but they don't go that fast, right? 64 something I see them going. When you were in 6th grade, you went to your uncle who worked C&H back in the early 90s. Yeah, pursuing your CDL then. You slept in strange lots, no APUs. All right. Pop the windows and you sleep then. You can't do that now. You're going to leave your windows open now? That's crazy. You're getting 6.5. Ugh. That's horrible. What if you got 2 more miles to the gallon? Imagine, and if you don't own it, what if the company got 2 more miles to the gallon? Imagine how much more money they'd be making. Yeah, Peterbilt likes having air conditioning. Yeah, me too. How great is that? PTL 66, 67, that's not too bad. But to get these, along those Pete's, you're gonna have to slow them way down. Paint drums for Sherman Williams? Yes, and they're only 1 gallon at a time or whatever, or 5 gallons at a time. Right. So smoothbore tanker, that's like swinging beef, pretty good. Your silly company gives bonus over 7.5. Are you getting 7.5 is the question. If you got 2 more, you'd take half the month off. Right. That's the thing of it. What if you did get 2? See, I get over 8.5. How do I feel about being told to double clutch during an initial CDL test and then not letting you? When I got my license, the truck school had a synchronized 5-speed Ford single-axle day cab to give people the test. So you couldn't double clutch it. It drove like a car. Okay, it was a single clutching. But I do know that they make you double clutch every gear during the test. Why don't they just let you drive the truck during the test and worry about that? It does, of course, some government, it never makes any sense. 55 gallon, you got the gigantic drums of paint. All right, yeah, so that's moving around too, right. Cattle haulers run along those Pete's, they do. I think they get more money. The new International with the right setup can get 10. That'd be pretty good. I haven't gotten 10. Winter, you can't get 7.5. I'll get 7.5 or better in the winter. I'll probably lose a mile, so I'll be 7.5 or more. The most efficient is the most, it's set. Each truck's got to be set up. Like I've said, we're running 1175 at 65. So when they buy the trucks, they can specify the rear end, gearing, and all that stuff is specified. And you specified that for your setup, what you're running, the speed you want to run, and everything. That's how you go in and buy a truck. And so then that truck is set up to do that job. and it'll be the most efficient truck. I think 8 plus is 7 plus, certainly should be every truck now. Your company gives a bonus over 5. Wow. I'd take half the month off too if I got a fuel bonus over 5. Okay, so maybe it's state by state. I do remember talking about that when I took my license, when there were dinosaurs, I guess. But so we told him, I guess the guy had told him, oh, it's not a double clutch truck. So they did that so we didn't miss any gears. It's what the truck school said, because they would fail you if you missed a gear. So that a synchronized truck, you couldn't miss gears. Hello, Chris. What's going on? 8's good. Yeah, we get pretty good, but it's set up for fuel mods. All the skirting, hubcaps, all that stuff. That's what they're set up for, and that way they make money. And so a fuel bonus would be good, but, you know, I'm not a fan of them anyway. I don't get one. But we do get good mods. But, you know, but on the other side of the fuel bonus, my ComData card is open everywhere I want. I can fill up any place I like, anytime I want, that takes ComData, which, as we know, is nearly everywhere. No problem. That's a huge deal to me. So I don't have to sit around, go to fuel route. But for that, I also don't get a fuel bonus. I'd rather fuel and get the heck out of there. You won't drive a truck as long as it's not a Tesla? Well, you're going to be waiting a while. Or so you can drive at, who ordered them? UPS, didn't they? Budweiser? I drive a 2018 Cascadia. Wyoming CDL books say I'm supposed to, which I got new last fall. You're supposed to double clutch. Right. Your tester told me you didn't have to. She doesn't see the point either, but can you float? You know, do it the way that you can do it to pass the test. I mean, if you're good enough to float it, then float them. You got food and water for 2 weeks for the trucks. Well, that's a lot of food and water. I only said in my blog post at truckinganswersnation.com/blog that a couple of days worth would be probably good. Do I think the hubcaps affect brake cooling? Yeah, I have wondered about that too, but they say, oh no, the air goes through the inside of the tires or whatever. So, you know, and I haven't noticed any difference, but I don't have a brake temperature thing. And they buy the brakes, so if they wear out sooner, they're buying brakes. So they must think it gets some better fuel mods than the extra brake cost of them wearing out sooner. Do I think it affects them? Yeah, it must, right? Yes, it's scary. Even at first you can feed the truck. Yeah, we're rolling this paint around, which is relatively thick, right? It's a high viscosity. Ooh, how about that word? The high gas prices are BS. There isn't a shortage of oil at... Okay, why haven't they come down? Yeah, the fuel price is $3.54. Something I got Friday. Nice. Gas, the car was $3.69 or something. I filled up the wife's Escape. We're running Detroit's here. Discs, no disc. Waiting for a new truck with discs. Wish I had them. Was waiting. I'm waiting. Every new truck that I see around, I look, but it doesn't have them on it. Oh, so she let you float on a 13 speed? Oh, and test it. Okay, right. Trained in a 13, but tested in a 10. You should train and test on the same truck just so you do it. If you can, right. I agree with you, Mr. Paul, on that. $4 a gallon in California. Nice. What's gas price there? Because, you know, we're in $3.60, $3.70 here for premium, so how much is gas in California? $5 probably. Yeah, viscosity is the word of the day, yes. That's the truth. Discs are 30%. Yes. I saw a sign on the back of a truck that said, caution, this vehicle has disc brakes and it's going to stop faster, so back up so you don't run into it. I saw a sign on that one time. But we don't have it. Okay, so gas isn't that much more out there. $4, not bad. I don't put that many miles on the car, just curious. So, because gas never bothered me, so, but Coronados are nice, but here we're not getting any fuel mods. We're saying not to fuel in Pennsylvania. I won't be doing any of that. To stay out of there. That's good. Right. So $4 I could tolerate. I could live with $4. Right. I take a tiny car to work and don't drive that many miles. So that isn't any problem. And I've had this car 4 years now. I've put 16,000 miles on it in 4 years. So gas doesn't really bother me. Oh, 310 in Vegas. Nice. Yeah, because they get you on the inside, right? Rather than on the outside. Freightliner Classic is Classic XL, but here we got fuel mods. We got a fuel mods problem. We can't tolerate. I can't tolerate the no fuel mods. Disc brakes are the real deal. I bet it works as good as a car, right? I'd love to drive one and see how good they are. I haven't seen one in person yet. I'm looking around. Once I find one, I'm going to go get it and drive it. Yeah, right. Well, it's after 4 here, so I do have to wrap up out of here and head to work. We had a nice long one today, so, and I do appreciate everybody for being here. There's more to life than miles. Depends if you're buying the fuel. Be sure to visit truckinganswersnation.com and /blog or whatever. Go read the blog, look at the pictures, check it out over there. Join the nation. It's free. Weekly newsletter. There's pictures of the trophy on the blog. If you go back a week or two, I have a picture out there. So, and we'll be out here with more videos, of course. Please keep sending the companies. I'm working on getting to them. Please understand that. All emails are answered. Mark at truckinganswersnation.com. I answer every email. Will be answered. Okay. And I'm trying to get to all the comments on the videos, and it's just doing great. So I appreciate everybody having been here. And so, yeah, well, it's getting longer, right? I had a route change so I can leave later, so that's perfect. So it was good having everybody on here, and I do appreciate it because, you know, I know that trucking, you can be anywhere, and you come here and watch this. You know, I'm just some guy out here, so I appreciate it. So anything I can do to help people, let me know, and I'll try to do my best to do it. And be sure to come to the live thing at Matt's when we give away that trophy. That's going to be great, all right? And otherwise, questions go there, and we're wrapping it up as we get out of here. So be safe. Check you out on the next video, and thanks for watching. I'll see you on the road.